Well, hello and welcome to another edition of the Big Freaking Friday Show right here on the College Football Mafia channel. I am your host, Nathan Bomber Brown, with my partners in crime and fellow leaders in the college football world. That would be the Professor Wild Ute.
Hey.
How you doing? Excellent. Right. And then there's Moen, who, again, just, 70s. Bring it out, Moen.
Check out the drip. I'm in South Beach. I'm fitting in here. Look at the drip, Town Hawk. Check out the feather. Check out the hat. Check out the glasses. Hot pink silk shirt with paisley interior. It's the drip. It's the drip. It's the drip. And I'm drinking a little of the Crown Royal XO in my fancy goblet. Some people might say it's a pimp goblet. Those people being me.
What is that Crown Royal cost you? How much?
$54.95 plus tax.
And is it like 2 liters or something?
No, it's a smaller bottle. It's
is it?
Yeah, it's aged in cognac barrels. So
which is Royal, the really old ones.
Yes, yeah. It's not really old. They just additionally age it in cognac barrels. So it gives it a nice, smooth, robust flavor. And sometimes if people drink too much of it, they can't walk.
Sometimes it's true.
All right.
So you get about 20 glasses per bottle like that. So it's like like $1.50, $2 per glass. It's not bad.
That isn't bad. I mean, you get more than that at a bar for sure.
Yeah, the bar is $10 probably for one.
Like $8 or $9 maybe.
At the bar, they would do $10 a shot on this.
Yeah. Really? Yeah. Wow. Probably, so open a bar and make some money, man. All right. I appreciate everybody being here tonight. Thank you so much. We've had a lively week. Lots of news, lots of college football and college sports stories. A lot of fun stuff that we covered this week. We had a live member show, my first live member show, which went pretty well. Then we did our live call-in show on Tuesday, which did go very, very well. And then we had a couple videos released. You released something on Wednesday. What was that about?
Yeah, it's about a Pac-12 expansion targets and applying a data-driven approach to really see who's the best fit, either as a full member or a football member. Brought UNLV into the fold again, guys. UNLV has been a Pac-12 target for a long time. They've turned the Pac-12 down, but I think that it's worth taking another swing at UNLV because that's a no-brainer. It's within the region, and they scored out really well. So go check it out. Good video. It's just based on data-driven analysis and nothing else. So it's the old matrix model. Really insightful.
And it worked really well. There are a lot of responses on social media, a lot of people paying attention, and people don't understand what it takes to put that data together and then to do these videos. It's not that easy. So I hope everybody appreciates them. That wasn't a member video either, was it, you? That one was publicly available. Anybody can watch it.
I'll tell you this, though. There's going to be a member video coming out here, okay? And Nate, you'll be interested in this one, too, because nobody's really put this out. But I've put together materials on the saga about Utah and the membership exit fees, right? This discussion about membership exit, what that would cost if the Utes were to ever leave the Big 12 early.
Right.
I have that information. I'm going to record a members-only video over the next week or two that I can't wait to release and stuff because that's going to be exclusive to this channel alone.
Yeah, I don't think anybody's covered that since certainly you guys joined the Big 12. That story hasn't been around. And now, obviously, Utah's been in the news just because people talk about what's going on and maybe a future of further realignment. I personally don't think that's going to happen. But if it did, certainly Utah is a candidate. So I think that's timely. So are you thinking next week or the week after?
Yeah, I'm thinking probably next week. I would love to get it out in early July, Mo. And so maybe we'll target for next week, huh?
Yeah, if that works for you. I don't have a Mo and Confidential plan for next week, so that would be perfect. It'd be an additional members-only benefit. Just as a reminder, guys, membership changes on July 1st. We're just going to one membership, one Wise Guy membership. So if you're a soldier or a capo, you will get a notification from YouTube. Everything's moving over to Wise Guy, and we've included additional benefits in that, including 2 members live streams a month, a minimum of 2 members videos a month. So it sounds like for July, we're actually kicking it off. You're going to have 3 members videos at minimum.
Let's go.
on top of 2 members only streams. So we're doing everything we can for the members here. We do appreciate everybody joining us tonight. If you want to show some love and support for Moen having the drip on, and I haven't seen Town Hawk do it. Town Hawk.
Hey, I'm wearing the drip too. What are you talking about? I'm decked out. You kidding me? I put a lot.
I want Town Hawk to come in here. I want that bird to come in here and recognize what I got going on here. But if you want to show love for the channel, for the family, you can go ahead and drop a super chat in the chat. You can also gift memberships. That'll allow everybody to get an access look at our members only library, members live streams. I dropped a video yesterday talking about the streaming giants and what they spend on sports and what they're looking to spend on sports. Got a little information from a friend in Seattle up by Amazon headquarters. I think people in the Big Ten will find it very interesting. So definitely, if you are a member, you want to check that out. In addition, I will let you guys know, and I'll let Ohio State fans know, I crossed enemy lines today.
I want to
hear this.
Now, I crossed enemy lines. I won't say who, but a large booster at the University of Michigan. I crossed enemy lines.
Wow, Moen.
I apologize to my Buckeye fans, but this is the world we live in. I'm trying to get you guys the best information, and I crossed enemy lines into Michigan politics and Michigan boosters and Michigan donors and Health. So it's I crossed the line today, and
wow.
But I'm sorry.
I don't know what
it doesn't.
You don't have to go on about it, Moen.
Is there like new nuggets here, Moen? Do you have like new intel?
Yes. But this does not apply to fandom. This applies to journalism. So I think I'm okay. I'm still a Buckeye down and deep in my heart, and I still hate Michigan.
Okay, so see, for one thing, I don't think you need to feel guilty about that, right? I get it. What we're doing here, we all talk to people. We all have our own little grooves. You talks to financial people and finds the inside outs on these contracts and everything that's going on in budgets and everything else. And you've really become an insider when it comes to talking about where the Big Ten's going to go and what the future might look like. I got legal people and people around college football and the way things run there, but I wouldn't have any problem talking to somebody at Utah. Like at the end of the day, it has nothing to do with what we do here, right?
And this is why Ohio State Michigan is the greatest rivalry in sports. I feel guilty, and I feel tremendous guilt, and I'm going to have to go to Ohio Stadium this fall and make a confession and seek forgiveness. Maybe try and get in front of Ryan Day and see if he can absolve me of this sin, but
that would be great. I want video. Yeah, it's another door that's been open to me. So it's another source here in the Big Ten, and I love it.
I look forward to working further with this gentleman.
All right. I really appreciate that. I think that's ever. I appreciate. Here we go. All right. Let's get to comments. So tonight we are right out the gate, and I've got to get to this because I just created a new banner. There we go. Let's get to our comments. Everybody, this is the first part of the show. I want to do shout outs for everybody who's here early. We appreciate you being here early on a Friday. Make sure you're following us on Twitter, subscribe to the channel on YouTube, and turn on those notifications so you know when our shows come out. I used to say that all the time, and then I fell out of habit. That is something that's important. You guys hit that little bell so you know when the shows pop up. Don't come to me later and say you didn't know when the show was. Just turn on your notifications and follow Moen. I appreciate it if you follow me on X. And just get involved with what we're doing around here. All right, let's start with.
Can I say
we got
something?
a massive super chat, guys, from Ryan.
Well, let me.
I was just gonna do it.
Let me say something real quick.
Okay.
A lot of people haven't filtered in here yet. So I want everybody in the chat to act like I dropped a piece of bombshell information at the beginning of the show.
Okay.
Don't tell any of the people that come in later what it is. Just say things like, I cannot believe what Moen said about what a bombshell, et cetera, et cetera. We'll play a prank on the little late arrivers. So never tell them what it is. I won't say what it is. You just say he just dropped a huge piece of realignment info.
Okay. I think I can. Well, I'll try to work that in. Ryan Willie, first out of the gate tonight, $50 freaking super chat. Appreciate you, Ryan. And I'm so grateful for you and all that you've done for us. Let's go. I believe that realignment is not just to heat up, but boil over. The P2 needs to shoot their shot before the clock runs out. Big 10 goes to 24. SEC goes to 20. Big 10 takes Notre Dame, Miami, Kansas, Duke, Georgia Tech, UVA. SEC takes UNC, NC State, FSU, and Clemson from the ACC. ACC at that point would devolve, and we would have to see what happened after that. But $50 super chat from Ryan Willie. What do you guys think about that, Moen?
$50 super chat. That's what I think about that. Let's
go.
freaking go on this big freaking Friday. Thank you, Ryan, for helping us keep the freaking lights on, okay?
Put the badger up. You're in charge of media.
Let's get that freaking badger up. Let's get some sounders, man. Let's go.
I love that so much. Thank you so much, Ryan.
Give him 50 sounders, Moan. 50 sounders.
You got to sit through the ad on the tablet here first. I'm sorry. I want to get his evil laugh.
Okay, please.
Winner. Wow, winning. I'm sorry, winning. Oops, winning.
Let him cook. Let him cook now. Let him cook. I said let
him cook.
Thank you for the super chat, Ryan. Yeah. We appreciate it, brother. We appreciate everything you do for the channel around here. Your continued generosity. You pump us up. You talk about our members only videos. You outstanding. Do. My favorite badger, Ryan Willie, even though he is an evil badger.
All right. Meanwhile, Outlaw Skies comes in and he's always fifth. Go Buckeyes. It's great to have Outlaw Skies as a valuable member of the College Football Mafia family. K Struthers, 3860, another member, a newer member of the College Football Mafia family. In a world where schools pay $50 to $75 million to fire or exit coaches, why is it seemingly that a big deal to pay conferences exit fees, 100 to 150 million for higher ground for 20, 50, or 100 years?
It's not a big deal. No, not at all. Like where we're at right now, pay whatever it takes. Pay $2 billion. I don't care, guys. It's absolutely worth any cost. And so just do it. Just get in the conference, take zero, the exposure, everything matters to try to get to this higher ground of the Big Ten and the SEC. It's worth, that is probably a $3 billion swing for a university. Like when you factor in all considerations, it's massive, not just for recruiting, but for exposure, for like your future, your program, for your kids coming into school and being in a higher caliber conference. It's everything. 100 and 150 million is nothing compared to the worth of this. So forget any kind of cost. Do it. If you get in, do whatever it takes to get in.
Very good. Moen, do you want to say anything about that?
Yeah, listen, Ute's 100% right. Cost of if you get an invite, you take it. And in order to get the invite, you make yourself the prettiest girl at the dance. And if that means paying your own way for 7 years, congratulations.
I think you do it more than that. I think 10 years is,
I
would be willing to do whatever.
I think you may find somebody who pays for themselves and pays for someone else. So
yeah.
Oh, wow. Oh boy.
We shall see.
I don't know about that.
I mean, that's they got you by the balls, don't they?
If you're talking about Stanford and Notre Dame, I'm not going to talk about that. Movie Time Blues says the issue here is that the Big Ten and SEC thought they had more time. They would have preferred to wait until 2030 or thereabouts, but Congress has intervened and now they are scrambling.
I just want to, I got to jump in here. Just a thought. Okay. So look, this hasn't gone into law yet. It's actually unlikely.
It's
I think
not going to. Everybody,
right? It's like relax. I think that right. Like so, we're talking like this is a done deal.
I'm not.
I'm like, what? I'm just saying, like, I mean, the
No,
odds of
it's
it actually
not.
happening are really low. And so the more likely scenario is like a year to year and a half down the line still for any realignment. Seriously, like, I mean, it would be crazy and it could happen. Like, it could happen within the next month to 2 months, but it's more likely that it happens over like the 1 to 2 year period and everything. It's still going to happen within 2 years, guys. We're at 24-month countdown, 100% and everything because the media rights deals are coming up. It's time. But like this really expedited timeline, like it seems because of this bill, it kind of seems a little bit premature.
I agree with that.
Listen, I'm not counting out how stupid Congress is. They will certainly, John Thune will get this on the floor by July. It probably passes at some point in July. I think if you're the Big Ten and the SEC, hey, they gave you the go ahead. And if they come back and say, look, this is exactly what we were trying to stop, you can say, we weren't planning to do this until you tried to stop it. And, you know, that's the way it is. And there's a lot of ACC schools that have not come out and endorsed this. A lot of ACC schools sent out individual letters on how they endorse it. Certain schools have not. And I think the schools that have not are the ones you have to watch because they want to get out of the ACC. 2 of them sued to get out of the ACC. And I fully believe there might have been 3 or 4 had that ruling not come down that we're going to be suing the ACC. So these guys went out and you've just given them an excuse to get them now. And you've just given them, I talked about it a little on Greg's show, you've given them tremendous leverage. The Big Ten and the SEC have tremendous leverage now on what they're going to pay these guys. And some people don't like that, but it's the way the world works. Money talks and bullshit walks.
I guess like, okay, so like do you really think that there won't be any ramifications if you do these quick invites though? Like, I mean, if there's enough smoke around this, like to put a bill and a law in place to stop realignment, then all of a sudden you skirt and go ahead before that happens. Do you think that that's actually going to work? Like, I mean, no one's talked about like what could be the ramifications if you try the stunt too. Like, I mean, that's got to be pretty significant, right? That's basically smacking them in the face.
Again, we've used the analogy before. I've used the analogy before. It's like going around the moon. You're past the point of no return. What's Congress going to do? Try and legislate you more? At that point, I think the Big Ten and the SEC, if they do this, they're thinking breakaway anyway, and they don't give a shit what Congress does. They'll form their own CBA. They'll come to some ruling, maybe not in collusion, but a ruling or a memorandum of understanding on what general rules are, and they'll go their own ways. I don't think they have to be part of the NCAA anymore.
Okay. All right. Let's get to some more comments. Daniel, the other Gygax contributor around here at the College Football Mafia, and also a valuable member. Thank you so much, Daniel, for all the stuff you do for us. West Virginia Mountaineer in California, a little displaced. Saying hi, everyone. I appreciate that. Big Lubbock, representing the Texas Tech Red Raiders, who I think at this point have realized they really dodged a bullet with Brendan Sorsby because now we're finding out. I'll get to that news item in just a little bit, but man, it just continues to get worse for that kid. And I think he's realizing he maybe made a mistake the way that they handled this at the very beginning. Suing doesn't always get you what you want. I think that's a good lesson for the young. Figure it out. Bob Swanger saying hi, everyone. Bob's also a long-standing OG member of the College Football Mafia family. FF18 boss, that would be Fergie, also contributes certainly to our social part of the channel. We appreciate Fergie. He's saying, what's up? Bud Light Boys. Go Boss. In the house. Good to have you here. Becky Go Huskies, $5 super chat. I'm just here as a Big Ten fan to gaslight so I don't get fined.
I will note it to Tony
Marshawn
Petiti.
Lynch.
I'll note it to Tony Petiti in my communication tonight, Becky. You're okay.
Marshawn Lynch in the house. That's all I got to say. Mark's Holy Grail says, happy Friday, Bomber Moen and Ute. Mafia community. Thank you so much, Mark. Mark's becoming an OG member of the College Football Mafia family. We certainly appreciate him around here. Let's see here. I already did Daniel. Let's see. Joaquin Morales in the house representing the Arizona State Devils. Sun Devils. Hey, Bomber, Wild Ute, Moen, and College Football Mafia family. Go Devils. Happy Friday to you, Joaquin Morales. We appreciate you very much. Caleb Ramirez, another Ohio State Buckeye. Another member, OG member of the College Football Mafia family. Thank you. Hi, everyone. Go Bucks. Hey, Moen, I've said this like almost with every comment. What is an OG member of the College Football Mafia family?
An OG member of the College Football Mafia, if you guys haven't noticed yet, you've got loyalty badges. By the way, those are going to be changing soon. I'm going to do some color variations so they stand out more. But yeah, if you've been with us, I believe 3 years or 2 years, you're an OG. At 3 years, you become a capo. So I mean, we've got a few of those. We've got a few. We got a few OGs. I think we got a few capos now.
Yeah.
It's very cool stuff, and we appreciate you, Caleb. And Caleb, I personally apologize to you that I talked to a Michigan booster today, but I needed the information, man. I needed the information.
You gotta do what you gotta do.
But Moen, you talked about this information a little while ago. Are you going to tell everybody what you were talking about?
Well, I mean, for the people who were here early, they heard it all. So we'll just leave it at that.
Okay. All right. Got to show up early if you want to hear secret stuff around here. I'm telling you.
Yeah, we got a couple more super chats here. Let's get to them, guys, here.
I'm getting there, Hugh. I'm going as fast as I can.
Okay.
CFB Upstart, another member of the College Football Mafia family. Hey, Buckeye Badger and P2 realignment list that doesn't include the biggest brand by far in the 11th and largest state and the East Coast is not a legitimate list. So
I don't know who the 11th largest state is on the East Coast.
I don't either. Is it Virginia? No.
Hey, Virginia's got to handle Virginia problems.
Yeah, I don't know who that is. I'm sorry, but thank you so much for being a new member, CFB Upstart. I think CFB Upstart got a gifted membership in the last month, and we appreciate those people that give gifted memberships. Marcus Williams. Is Marcus an OG? I know he's getting close. He's been with us for quite a while. $2 super chat, certainly. Quick Strike, Silos on the way. July 1st is huge. July 1st is next Wednesday for everybody who is paying attention. Fergie, $2 super chat. Paying a pimp is illegal, Moen, but here's $2. There you go.
I'm not a pimp, just to be correct. I just supply some extracurricular activities to people who are looking for those sort of things. So thank you for the $2. Thank you for the $2, but that $2 ain't gonna get you much from me. But, might get a tunnel bunny out of that.
Go Black 45, the best name in social media, in my opinion. I love Go Black 45. He's been with us for a very long time. OG. You can never forgive a betrayal, Nate. And on top of that, he says, those who betray God, country, man, and their college football team go to the ninth circle of hell, Moen.
Yeah, I did. I read that in Dante's. Yeah, I read that in Dante's Inferno. So yes, I'm aware of the circles of hell, and I seek forgiveness. Though I mean, that's all I can do is seek forgiveness at this point. I talked to a Michigan man.
All righty, Cody X Reviews. Really become active, and we appreciate them in the College Football Mafia family. $5 super chat. Canes get the Stanley Cup. NC State to the SEC. Raleigh gets a Major League Baseball team. Come on, guys, help me manifest it.
Let's go.
Hey, it's good, positive vibes, brother. We'll manifest for you. Okay, how about that? I appreciate everybody being here early tonight. We're going to get to news, or else we're never going to get through this show, I swear.
Right. Well, hold on.
Share. Go ahead.
1, it's illegal to manifest in public. Don't do it. 2, we got to get to some sounders here. We owe some sounders.
Let's celebrate.
We owe one for Becky, the Washington Husky. We'll do the siren. We owe one to Marcus Williams. I could screw with him, but I'll give him the song.
Don't do that. You can't screw with him. Marcus is here for us.
And then we got Fergie with the Buffaloes of Colorado. And here you go. And then we've got Cody reviews North Carolina State on the precipice of AAU. Might not be as long shot as you think. Here we go. Here's a little Wolfpack howl.
Gosh, that's nice, Moen.
It is. I like it. I do. I like it. Who else? So is that everybody, Moen?
That's everybody. I think we got everybody. If I missed somebody, I apologize.
No. We don't miss people around here. I'm sure we'll get to it. All right, let's get to headline. Let me get my banner for my headlines here. I hit the wrong button. Sorry. All right. First one, and this goes this. I don't know if this has to do with who you were talking about with Michigan, Moen. But the president of Michigan, certainly they ran into trouble with Dusty May's departure. Do you want to explain what that was, Moen?
Yeah, Dusty May, they originally had given him a raise following the North Carolina job rumors. NBA job came available, and, he was able to get a top 7 pick, I believe. Top 7 or top 9 pick. And he took the job. And, the Michigan president says a lot of that has to do with, the fact that this Protecting College Sports Act is going to limit what Michigan has been able to achieve in success in terms of being able to get the coaches they want, get the players they want. They think it might have been a money issue with Dusty May. I think less so. I think it was more of Dusty May has won a national championship in college. He wants to go advance his career to the next step, which is obviously the NBA, and try and win a championship there with the Dallas Mavericks. And, again, he ended up drafting his own player. He ended up picking up a Michigan kid in the NBA draft. So I don't think it was as much a money issue with Dusty May as much as it was, hey, here's an NBA job. And it was a good NBA job, too. Good NBA job that I think I can be competitive at. I'm going to go ahead and make that jump to the NBA. I don't think it was as much as Michigan couldn't offer him an NBA job.
Well, and the NBA is top, right? I mean,
right.
So you win a championship, next step is the NBA. It shouldn't be, you shouldn't take it personal. But anyways, Michigan president puts out this quote about the Protecting College Sports Act. And this little quote and this is what I tagged, won't sacrifice the competitive advantage we built. The Big Ten, certainly Michigan says, we already have this great money advantage. We have this ability to spend where we need to spend for athletes. We're not going to abrogate that or give that away. And this comment from Mitt Winter says a good explanation of why the Big Ten and SEC aren't supporting the Protect College Sports Act. And one of the reasons it's unlikely to become law. What do you think about that from Mitt Winter?
I'm not sure it really has much to do with Dusty, right? In the situation, I think it's just kind of a cheap shot at just the act.
Yeah, it's exactly what it is. Yeah.
Right. Like, what's the sacrifice here for the competitive advantage? Is it like just the fact that there's going to be more restrictions on NIL or something? The fact that you can't realign anymore? And Michigan's rolling and everything, and they're succeeding in everything. And guess what? If you break away and you have your own CBA, there will be spending restrictions. Hello. So I'm not really sure what he's talking about. I think it's just bull crap and taking a punch in the air at the act. Like, it makes no sense and everything. Dusty, he achieved what he could do at Michigan. He reached the pinnacle. What else are you going to do? All you can do is go down from here. Michigan probably wasn't going to go back to back. So I could see going to the NBA is not a big deal. I just don't see the big deal with that either. So has nothing to do with this Protect College Sports Act. That's a nothing burger.
I would agree with you. Next one is we had another lawsuit, as we always do. The MMR, the media conglomerates essentially getting together to pay athletes. Magistrate judge in the House case has denied plaintiff attorneys Jeffrey Kessler, who also did the Brandon Sorsby stuff, and Steve Berman's challenge of the CSC over associated entities. MMRs and sponsors will remain associated entities and are subject to the scrutiny through the clearinghouse. Ross Dellinger, and I got to post the link for that because That's what we do around here. We give credit where credit's due. Ross Dellinger, his final comment is big win for the NCAA. I would just say this, and then what do you guys think about it? I would just say that this win is fine, and they can say whatever they want to say, but at the end of the day, none of this is they can't enforce anything yet. They can't disperse any monies until if they want to do enforcement, which every conference is not signed on to. So Moen, is the Big Ten going to sign on to the CSC member agreement?
Yeah, absolutely. If you're going to include MMRs and sponsors in it. If that's
they haven't done it yet.
Right. But I'm saying if it's not going to go that route, right now, they remain associated entities are subject to scrutiny through the clearinghouse, which they should be. And as long as that remains, I don't think the Big Ten is going to have a problem with it. But again, this is assuming the Big Ten remains in the NCAA, guys. Right. I don't know that the Big Ten remains in the NCAA. I think the Big Ten and the SEC are probably looking to shove off port here and sail their own seas, and we'll figure out what they do from there. Maybe they'll do some kind of thing where they'll still play in the NCAA tournament, March Madness. But
no. Why would they? No, and that's not how it works. So because the NCAA and your own thing. Why in the world would the rest of college sports allow you guys to participate in the basketball tournament?
Because it makes the rest of college sports more money.
That's the only leverage they have.
At that point, like for the basketball tournament, I'm not sure, man. Like football's what brings value. You're pulling football away. No NCAA tournament. No way, man.
I would find it hard.
You're not getting your cake and eating it too, man. No way.
No. We'll see. You remember the realignment news I dropped at the beginning of the show? We'll see.
Yeah, that's true.
That was a banger too.
It was too. If you missed the beginning first 20 minutes, you missed big news. And you could ask in the comments, but I don't think anybody's going to tell you what that was. So you need to show up early to this channel. The early birds get the worm. That's all I'm saying. All right, let's move to the next one. Next headline: Ross Dellinger again. Here's the link again, because we always give credit where credit's due. Open Doors. The company that is tracking the NIL market and everything associated with it is projecting college athlete compensation revenue share plus third-party pay exceeds $4 billion. $4 billion to athletes this next year. The Big Ten schools' annual average spend, and this is really what I think where you're seeing the play of where the competitive balance is. SEC's 44 million, Big Ten is 48, ACC's 28, the Big 12 is 24. That doesn't mean anything. It means these schools can only pay so much money. This is an average of the conferences. There are schools that are spending more. We know Texas Tech is spending more. BYU's paying a little bit more for some stuff. So 24 for the Big 12. I don't know where that average actually comes out for the different schools. But this article is extremely interesting. I would absolutely tell you to click on it. Go to the link I just shared. It's fascinating, some of this stuff they drilled down on. I can look at a couple of the headlines. They thought that it would be $2.88 billion and is going to be almost $4 billion next year. So you can see the growth is just – and can you explain what a growth curve looks like this? This is not normal, right?
No, that's not normal. That's explosive growth right there. And like that's unsustainable growth too, given like the state of most athletic departments in college football. Like you said it right there, Nate, like the Big Ten's all-in spending is $50 million, $40 million, $50 million today, right? Like guys, like we're already there. Like we're going to $100 million rosters. Guys, like, seriously, like these athletic departments, even in your Ohio State's they're making less than $300 million and stuff. So the amount of money that's going to football players primarily is egregious. And like, it's actually a significant overpay because athletic departments can't handle it anymore. They're cutting sports or cutting everything. And eventually they're just going to have to cut down the spending on football and just not be competitive anymore. But this is a reflecting graft of overspending that's not sustainable and inflated. That's the problem with this NIL universe with no caps. It's inflated spending. It's just basically going to bankrupt everybody to keep up with the Joneses, guys. And this is terrible. It's disgusting, really, to see this and stuff. It was supposed to be half as much. It turned out to be double as much. And like, it's not going anywhere unless somebody puts some constraints on it. It's going to keep doing this until you have an LA Dodgers situation with Ohio State and Texas spending twice as much as everybody else. It just sucks, man. This is exactly what you didn't want college football to become. It's exactly what's become. This absolutely blows. I hate every bit of this. I hate it, man. This is a fake market right here. And it's basically going to bankrupt everybody but Ohio State and Texas. So screw this, man. Screw it.
Moen?
Well, first, you speak for yourself. I can maintain and sustain my explosive growth for up to 15 minutes. Secondly, you knew this was going to happen.
I know.
This it's not a surprise. I don't understand why people
doesn't mean that it's okay. It's not a surprise.
They projected, and this is not a good sign for open doors. You projected the NIL market would reach 2.8. It ended up being 4.5. You guys were off by almost $2 billion. I don't know why you're promoting that. I mean, I get it.
But at the end of the
numbers, but
they're an analysis branch of a company.
Sure, right? But I mean, listen, You'll tell you if your analysis is off by more than $2 billion,
it's not a good thing.
I wouldn't go promoting that. That's just me, but I wouldn't promote that.
It's so hard to, because like if you've got a $50 million rev share and then booster, so what's called an associated entity, and I out 50 and stuff, and like guys, the Big 12 payout's $32 million and stuff, and 24 million of that is going for rev share and a little bit of booster collective support. You don't need it wipes all your media money. Just paying the freaking athletes, guys. This is so stupid. This is the worst business I've ever seen. And still, Otro Capital wants to get into it with Utah. It's wild stuff. This spending needs to stop, and like it's not going to stop on its own organically. There's got to be some type of intervention that comes in, and obviously the Big Ten and the SEC don't give a rat's what, because you saw what the Michigan president just say. Our competitive advantage, yes. Your competitive advantage is this bankruptcy situation. Thanks, Michigan. Thanks, Ohio State. Thanks, Texas. It needs to stop. It needs to stop so we have college athletics in the future, so my kids can watch college football in the future. Please, somebody let this stop.
One day we're going to be watching college football games in movie theaters because it can't be put on TV. It's too expensive. It'll be like having to watch the Ali Frazier fight in the old days. Yeah, just a quick couple averages for things. Power 4 quarterback, $1.5 million. High major men's basketball, $1.1 million. D1 pitcher, baseball. Who even watches baseball? $127,000 now. Major forward in women's basketball is almost $140,000. D1 women's volleyball opposite hitter is 40 or 50K essentially, and a D1 softball pitcher is making 36.4, which is almost $40,000 a year. So boy, oh boy. I don't know. Something has to change. I didn't think the CSC was, I still think the CSC was broken from its outset. It wasn't going to be able to stop any of this, but this is just poorly run in my opinion. The business of college football has broken everything at the end of the day. Right here, another comment about let me post this. Let me just put this link here. Another comment that John Willer put out. There is no way Cantwell is what is she, senator from Washington State. Allows the PCSA to churn forward without an escape hatch for Wazoo and the G6s. Otherwise, she would be making their situation worse. That's something what John Willer said. Bob Thompson again coming in saying this bill is DOA in my mind. Probably doesn't even get out of the Senate before they shut down. Try again next session, which would be a new Congress, right, Moen?
Yeah, it would potentially be a new Congress. We don't know what it's going to be made up of yet, but if we look at polling, it's probably going to be a Democratic-controlled House, and the majority in the Senate is going to slim. But yeah, I mean, this is again one of these things where probably won't happen, but if it does happen, better to be prepared than unprepared. So
I agree with that. Yeah.
I think the fact that they put that in there and they pressed forward out of committee, I think that was all the signal the Big Ten and the SEC needed.
Seems reasonable. I mean, I understand the thought process. I don't think there's an application process yet. And I'm with you. I don't think anything happens this year, but we've always talked about 28, 29 horizon, maybe starting in 27, which is just next year. Can you believe this? When we started this channel, we were like way out in 27, way out in 28, and it will just be in another 6 months. That's how quickly time is gone. Doesn't that kind of make you feel weird, compared to where you and I first met? And I mean, it's insane how this is.
Yeah, 2030 was so far away, 2027 and everything. And like, we're right there though, on the cusp and everything. You know, that Big Ten deal, right? Bonus in 2029, 2030, it's up, right?
Right, unless they negotiate an extension.
Yeah, sure. But like you're looking at like you're 3 years on that deal, and like we're already halfway through this year, man. It's coming up, guys. Like this thing is coming to break, man.
Nothing happens till the NFL's done, and the NFL's not even halfway through their negotiating period. So I that's why I don't think any of this happens this year. The NFL has to eat first. Everybody else is subservient to the NFL. So, anyways, I don't know. We don't need to dwell on that and circle down and cycle down on the news that Moen broke at the beginning of the show. This is the last article I'm going to bring. The CFL now will not let in Brendan Sorsby. I'm not piling on this kid, I swear. I'm just passing on news. Will not allow teams to sign a former Texas Tech QB. I don't think that's right. He was never a Texas Tech QB. And I think they're keeping keeping Texas Tech in there because it's the deal of the day title. But he never played for Texas Tech, so I don't even know. The league cited serious and concerning allegations and its commitment to fair competition. Do you guys look? He's not playing for the next year. I think really we need to start asking questions about next year. I mean, is it possible that this kid just gets blackballed?
I think that it'd be really wise for him to go back into some type of program to really like shore up his addiction, to show that he's put in more work on that. And then next year, the draft, maybe he's got a shot at getting on a team. But he's basically, he's put himself in a terrible position on what could have been, what should have been, right? Like financially, like everything, like his career. So I hope for a comeback, but I think that he just needs to keep taking care of this to make sure that it really is taken care of. Then he can show a little bit more good faith that this is not going to be an issue in the future. Because let's face it, he only went to therapy after he was caught, guys. Yes. Like that just shows like he wasn't going to get help unless he got caught. And so you need to see a little bit more good faith, a little bit more character out of him and stuff. I think before he gets drafted, he could have a chance next year, but he's going to be out of football for a year.
Moen, what do you think?
Yeah, Brendan can have a redemption arc. I think it's certainly possible, but listen, the NFL basically told him you're sitting this year, you know, it's basically a 1-year suspension without having a 1-year suspension. And they basically said that in the letter, you know, we're not going to, you know, allow you to do this because you just ended your litigation 3 days prior. We don't see any reason that we should be required to have a supplemental draft. You're the only player out there. So just enter next year's draft. They can't block him from next year's draft. So
they can't block him, but they certainly don't have to draft him either.
Well, that's right. There's 32 teams. They don't have to draft him, but I mean, somebody's going to draft him. Somebody's going to take a chance on this kid because they're going to get an incredible value out of it.
Yeah.
How and I love the redemption arc idea, right? The United States is all about redemption arcs. Pete Rose could have had a redemption arc if the very first thing he had done just walked in and said, yes, I did this. It was the worst choice I ever made in my life. What do I need to do? Get back and work with Major League Baseball. I bet he's in the Hall of Fame now. That was 40 years ago. I was in high school, and I still think he could have gotten in if he would have shown a little bit more character like you talked about. What does his character arc need to look like?
You know, here's the thing, Nate. I disagree with you on Pete Rose because baseball had already set the standard that they were going to, anybody involved with gambling on baseball, they were lifetime ban. Now, would he been looked on more favorably? Probably. but I still think he would have been banned from the Hall of Fame. For Sorsby, I think the first thing you got to do is get rid of lawyers. You don't need any more
he
lawyers.
does need to walk. Yes, that's right.
Advising you.
Yeah.
They have not done a good job
That's
advising you thus far. You got the
his
$5
agent
million.
screwed him. Everybody, he's blaming everybody else. Cincinnati knew, Indiana knew. Yeah,
Right.
Yeah,
Suck it up. Admit you have a problem. Continue to go to rehab. Continue to go to meetings for Gamblers Anonymous. Continue to do that, and then be contrite when you do your NFL interviews. Say, look, I messed up. I did this. Nothing is worse than saying it's this person's fault this happened, that person's fault this happened. You've got to accept self responsibility on these things. Show that you're responsible. Say, I'm responsible for the issues that Brendan Sorsby has faced. I'm responsible for the gambling. Not Cincinnati, not Texas Tech, not Indiana. Brendan Sorsby is the one who placed the bet. And Brendan Sorsby is sorry for it. And Brendan Sorsby is committed to having a redemption arc that could benefit your professional team.
Look, my faith believes in redemption, and people should come clean, right? Admit they made a mistake, and say, very contrite, what do I need to do to get back, right? That's where my faith leaves with people. Nobody's perfect. Everybody makes mistakes, but you have to show an amount. You have to be willing to lose. If you're not willing to lose, that's not what redemption's about, right? Redemption involves sacrifice. Redemption involves taking time and listening to other people about why it made them upset, right? What are the 10 steps of AA? One of the things, very first thing is you have to admit you have a problem. The second one is you have to apologize, or I don't know what it is, but you end up having to apologize to people. Say, I'm sorry I made you feel the way you did. It's my fault. It's not yours. All of these things. And is there, I haven't seen a redemption arc involved with, and it's not AA, it's Gambling Anonymous. Is there a GA plan to get back?
Yeah, absolutely. All those are basically the 12-step program.
Okay.
They all operate on the same model, but it's just more for the counseling portion of it. You're with similar addicts to help people who understand the addiction more. But yeah, I mean, there's room for a redemption arc. I think, I go back to, I'm not Christian because I'm perfect. I'm Christian because I'm not perfect. I think that's very important to keep in mind. So Brendan Sorsby can pull it together, but Brendan Sorsby needs to learn about accountability. He just, if he would take accountability, if he wouldn't try to sue everybody, if he wouldn't try to just accept it, say, I messed up, we're moving forward, I'm moving forward, I would be a valuable asset to your team. And if you don't think so, that's fine. I might see you down the road on the other side of the field.
There's no remorse at all, though, guys.
I agree. That's where we've seen it. We haven't seen a 60 Minutes interview. We haven't seen a Wall Street Journal deep dive into what the gambling actually was and people understanding how he got where he got. None of that. All we've seen is, I went to the program. I'm out now. I'm okay.
I'm going to sue all you guys to play, right? That's
let's go. Yeah, I didn't like that either. And it put people off, and it's a bad look. And so... I want him. I want everybody to be successful. I want him to have a life. I want him to go out. But definitely he is finding out the real world. And I told this to my kids growing up, the real world's an ugly place. You have to rely on your family, friends, your faith, because the real world is a horrible place. And the only way to do that is to rely on the people that are around you. And I kind of feel like the people around him have absolutely let him down. I would have fired my agent the very first thing. And I haven't heard he fired him after he made that stupid comment about how he gambled at Cincinnati, and it's really Cincinnati's fault for not controlling him. That's not going to get him anywhere. Anyway. All right. I think we're done with Sorsby. I think the CFL, is there anybody else that's playing football this year? Is there a European football league anymore?
Well, you've got the UFL this spring.
Okay. All right.
I don't know that the UFL has banned him yet, and the UFL probably won't.
Okay.
The UFL is looking for any publicity they can get. That is some rough outside of a few
Boy.
teams. That is a rough league. They're not getting attendance. I don't know how they're doing viewership wise, but you know, Columbus Aviators, I know, did not do fantastic in attendance this year.
I got to give a shout out to all of our viewers, because for weeks we had talked about, well, he should just walk away from Texas Tech and prepare for the draft, going through the supplemental draft. That was the very first thought I had when I saw the first report, is he's done at Texas Tech, he'll go to the supplemental draft. We don't have that every year, but I thought for sure that would happen. The viewers of this channel, Daniel Gygax being one of the main ones, says he is absolutely done at least for a year. There's no question. There is no way that they're going to take chances on these character issues. And I actually thought that maybe they saw the NFL arm and maybe they'd let him in, but it's obvious that is not what's going to be happening with gambling addicts. So it's a very dark story for any of these college athletes that are gambling, and they're risking their careers in doing it. So, all right, let's
reflect on Texas Tech too. I mean, like no
that's
league is going to give them a shot, right? And like, because everybody knows that you just don't gamble on your own team. And the fact that Texas Tech was going to the mat, had to get sued by the Big 12. I mean, gee, guys.
I think I have seen a lot of ownership from Texas Tech fans. Oh, I think now I realize why everybody else was mad. I've seen those posts come out, and I don't know. We have Big Lubbock in the house. I'm not sure all the other Texas Tech fans. We have a bunch of them to watch the show that could be watching tonight. Laura Barton on Twitter, certainly somebody that I respect. Laura said no way at the very beginning. Big Lubbock, I don't know. I can't remember what his position was, but they're really looking at it from the other side and saying, wow, we dodged a bullet at this point. Could you imagine if they had really continued to press down on this thing and how bad they would have looked going through the season? It would have been horrible. Absolutely horrible outcome.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's good that it ended sooner.
I completely agree with you. All right. So Go Black 45 member for 10 months. Mullen, do we have an LSU sounder we can give to Go Black 45? Let's go. Oh, wow. That's a tiger. I like that.
That's tiger.
That's a tiger. That's definitely different than a cougar. I always said that no cougars. Who would be the best 32 teams to do MIL NFK? Moen, you're going to have to tell me what that means.
I think he's asking who would be the best 32 teams to do a mini NFL.
Oh, okay.
Well, you got 34 now in the SEC and the Big Ten.
Yeah, so it's not going to be – it's actually going to be 32 top brands. It's really not going to be anybody else. Purdue's not going to be in that list. I'm sorry, Greg. Minnesota's not going to be on that list. So who would you put as the top 32 brands? We don't have to go through all 32, but what are some of the – maybe not the basic ones, not Ohio State and Michigan. Maybe some of the brands on the other end.
Here's an easier way to think of it. Who are the brands in the ACC and the Big 12 that you would put in there?
You have Florida State in there. You'd have Miami,
Florida State, Clemson.
And then it's
Miami, definitely. Yeah, Miami, definitely.
So you are following an NFL model. You're tripling down in Florida.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, well,
if it's just the best 32.
Yeah, it's the best 32
or whatever football brands.
I would say, and another way to look at it is who would you pull out of the Big Ten and the SEC? Vanderbilt wouldn't be there. Bulldog Mississippi would probably hate me, but Mississippi State would probably be right on the edge. It's possible Mississippi State's in there. They have historical good football. You drop Vanderbilt, Purdue. I hate to say it. Indiana has been good, but does Indiana deserve? I don't know, maybe because
they did it with a natty.
Recency bias. We'd have to go with that. Illinois, does Illinois make the case there, Moen? You'd have to give it. That Wisconsin, I think, would be in there.
Well, listen, you'd have to have a team representing the Chicago market.
Okay.
That's probably Notre Dame. Yeah, I'd say that's probably Notre Dame. But, who knows? Yeah, it could be Notre Dame because the Chicago Bears are going to play in Indiana now. So it makes total sense.
USC, I think UCLA, just because they're UCLA, it's LA, and 2 teams is okay. Washington, Oregon, or Givens. I think you'd have conversations around Utah, BYU, Colorado, that group, those 3, and then Arizona State. I think there's a conversation to be had. Nebraska, Oklahoma, Givens, Iowa. Is Iowa top 32?
Definitely,
yeah,
Iowa's
I think you'd have to count them. Mullen,
We'll have to do, you know what? This seems like a good tier maker. We'll do this someday, Go Black 45, but
write it down. Somebody take notes. Somebody
you
do that.
Remember that, because I'm a little lit.
Okay. And I don't take notes during shows. So
and
BYU would be in that though, in 32. If you're
yes, BYU would be the Utah team.
I would have to say, but it's worth a conversation. I think let's do a tier maker and we can go through it. And everybody that's watching the show, I bet you they'd enjoy that. That could be a lot of fun. So, by the way, I fell in love with the tier maker. I did. Did you watch my member video, Ute?
I haven't seen
Moen
it.
did.
No,
you haven't seen? Oh man, you're
the tier maker did.
I did. It was really good.
Nice.
Moen, didn't I do a good job? I don't know. He might not remember.
From what I saw, I had a little explosive growth.
I did a good job, and you guys are hurting my feelings. You didn't go back and watch it. Regardless, tier maker's fun. I just need to do some editing before I start the show. I did a 130. I didn't mean to, but I was just trying to move everybody into a 20-team conference for the 3 conferences, and I was searching through. There was there's 8 rows or something because I hadn't thinned it out. So I'll do better next time. But it was a lot of fun anyway. Thank you, Go Black 45, for being a member for 10 months. We appreciate you. And I want to be very clear. Go Black 45 has been a member with us a long time. I think that 10-month number is because people's credit card numbers changed and they do let them lapse. I wish they would give a grace period of a month for people to re-up again. Anyway, Stephen Pitts in the house. He is also a return member of the College Football Mafia family. Has become a new member. Moen, do we have a sounder for Stephen?
Sure. I don't know your team, Stephen, so I can't give you a team sounder, so we'll give you one of these.
Consequences will never be the same. You lying bunch of prick.
What the hell is that? I don't even know what that is.
That's an old internet meme. Old internet meme.
Okay.
Thanks for becoming a member, Stephen Pitts. We do appreciate it.
We very much appreciate it, Stephen. Thank you. FFD, Fergie's on the $2 train tonight. I appreciate it. Can the word Sorsby be the new drinking game?
Fergie, can, if you're A positive and can give me half your liver, that can certainly be arranged.
I don't want to talk about Sorsby the rest of the offseason. In fact, let me ask you.
We're going to drink now. If you mention his name, that's the new drinking game. You say Sorsby, we had to drink. It's like the new Georgia. Okay.
All right, fine. The new old Georgia.
We got to pay up, Moen.
Sorsby. You guys have fun. Drink for me. Moen takes 2 for everyone, so he can cover me anyway. Fergie says, can the word Sorsby be the new drinking game? Sure, why not? We haven't talked about Georgia Tech a bunch. In fact, I completely forgot Georgia Tech last night. Off of a 20-team SEC and 20-team Big Ten, I didn't see it. Is Georgia Tech in the 24 model?
It's a great question. It really is a great question.
It is a good question. I know.
And we're gonna. That's actually the topic of the show tonight. We're going to cover who is the Miami's +1, +3, +5. Mm-hmm. I think for Georgia Tech to get there, it has to be a +5 situation.
So you're saying Miami +5?
Yes. Yeah. For Georgia Tech to get there, I'm not saying that is the situation. I'm saying for Georgia Tech to get there, it needs to be a +5 because, again, I know people don't want to hear it. Maybe Duke should be the new drinking game. Duke is just harassing people at this point. I mean,
and see, Houghton, can I ask you a question about that? Because that came to mind when I did the show. That is exactly what came to mind. Florida State did the exact same thing Duke is doing now. Florida State agitated to get out of the ACC, immediately filed a lawsuit. We're gone. They thought they had their ticket. They didn't know they were annoying the hell out of all these administrators in Big Ten land. is it possible that Duke does the exact same thing? Because I didn't think Duke had a right anyway, but a lot of people talked about him possibly moving up. Is that where Duke ends up? That would be shocking, I think.
Listen, I'm going to tell you a little something, a little drop a nugget here. There are people in the Big Ten who were very impressed with what Duke pulled off with Amazon. They thought it was great.
That's 3 basketball games.
It was 3 basketball games, but they figured out how to carve them out. They are non-conference neutral site games, and they gave a pittance to ESPN to get out of that deal to do it. And they're making $15 million just for those 3 games.
But what does that matter, though?
It matters to the Big Ten because it shows outside the box thinking and an ability to go out there and.
If they joined the Big Ten, they wouldn't be able to do that, though.
They still have
to let them off.
No, they're contractually obligated to do it. So the Big Ten would have to allow it to happen.
Now they would. I'm saying in the future.
In the future, you're correct. In the future, you're correct. But it's a situation. Do you want them outside the tent pissing in, or do you want them inside the tent pissing out?
I want Duke out way in the backyard shooting hoops. That's what I want, because they don't belong in a football-driven realignment. No way Duke should be ahead of some of these other football schools. There's absolutely no reason for that.
Listen, we talked about it earlier. I said it earlier. Money talks and bullshit walks. And I'm sorry that you don't like that, but that's the way America's works. I mean,
I don't think it's going to happen.
Well, you might be surprised.
Okay. Yeah, sure. I'm surprised all the time.
Duke is in a very good position, guys. Here,
you need to put like $100 bills sticking out of the bikini.
Oh my god!
Here, the namesake of this show, guys, is the Miami Realignment Mystery Deepens. What do you think of this, guys? What do you think of this? You like that? Is that nice, Miami? Is that nice?
Is that a corset?
That's a swimsuit.
That's literally not covering any part of the U other than the crotch.
No, I think that right there. No. You need something. You need stripper pole type action for Miami.
For Miami?
Yeah, absolutely. If you're bringing Miami in, it's not because they're super smart and it's research driven. You're bringing them in for their 5 national championships in the last 50 years, and somebody who can come in and win football games. That's why you're bringing University of Miami in. I don't think that's enough. That's my opinion.
You know what? The reason for this live show is because Miami, the chatter, right? We've talked about it in these circles so much. The chatter is everywhere from every which way. The Miami Big Ten is for years, but it's been just heated up, right? To a level where it feels like it's almost a certainty, guys. Like, what would have to happen for Miami not to be in the Big Ten over the next 2 years? Miami is going to be getting into the Big Ten Conference. And it seems like the most, like outside of Notre Dame, who's going to have to make their own decision, Miami is going to be that team that gets in either with Notre Dame by themselves. They're going to get in the Big Ten Conference. Unless for some weird reason the SEC swings at them, which culturally doesn't make much sense. So Big Ten and Miami is like the highest probability out of any realignment move, in my view. Do you disagree with that, Mo?
No, if I was going to place a bet, the most sure thing bet would be Miami to the Big Ten.
Well, what's poly market right now say?
Is there poly market bets for realignment?
It wouldn't shock me. I haven't looked, but there were poly market bets on Brendan Sorsby playing college football, so it would not surprise me. Somebody would have to look for me. I don't know. But
I'm putting I'm putting a 90 to 95% confidence level on Miami to the Big Ten.
I think it's a done deal as well. It's just a matter of when.
I think with Greg's news yesterday, it really sealed it for me that Miami was headed to the Big Ten. If Florida State is 90-10 at this point, I think the Big Ten was probably using Florida State as a bit of leverage against Miami. And if it's that low, if it's just 10% for Florida State to the Big Ten, then it tells me that the Big Ten is probably locked down Miami with some kind of agreement.
There's
some kind of verbal
2 schools in
Florida.
Right.
I don't think they're going to do 2 schools in Florida. I do think they're moving to 20 before they go to 22 or 24, but Yeah, I think the Seminoles were being used for leverage to get Miami to agree to whatever decision the Big Ten had come to. I'm sure Miami wanted a full share right away, but
Right.
I think that's unrealistic for anybody to ask for outside of
Yes.
Notre Dame.
Yes.
And again, I mentioned it on Greg's show on Wednesday, and people keep asking me about it. Why do we keep going back to Notre Dame? The Big Ten keeps going back to Notre Dame because they know how much money Notre Dame makes. It's in the actual contract. They know the figure, and they know what they can do with that figure. They know how many teams they can bring along with Notre Dame. So that's why they keep going back to Notre Dame, because they've got a guaranteed figure. I don't know that they have guaranteed figures for Miami, Duke, et cetera yet. But
you can watch their own modeling. I mean, you've got your own projections with your own finance people and everything.
Sure.
Economists to say, hey, look, we haven't got the numbers from the media rights company, but it's going to be in this range. Like,
you
so
hope.
You know what is going to benefit you, not just in media payouts, but just overall for Big Ten growth, value in other areas.
Here's the thing, you're hoping, because remember, Oregon and Washington brought a lot to the table. NBC and CBS paid zero for them. That was all footed by Fox. So Miami brings a lot to the table. That doesn't necessarily mean NBC and CBS are going to drop any money on it. It could be another situation where Fox is footing the bill, and NBC and CBS benefit from it. But, again, projections on what media might pay you, I don't think that's enough to take to the bank.
Well, here's the thing is, like, we talked about the media rights end up and, like, for the Big Ten, they expire out in 29 to 30. We're in 2026, guys. We're only 2 years away after the season. Yeah. Like, it's an immaterial moot point, because you're not going to jump in the Big Ten until 2029 at the earliest, probably. And so it doesn't matter what the media pay. It's that's going to get worked out within the year that you're in the conference.
Well,
and it's a very short-term problem. It's not going to be a problem at all. It's a no-brainer ad in so many ways. You got to get in the state of Florida. Double dipping with Florida State and Miami would be a golden move in my view and stuff. But I think this thing's going to 24, guys, for travel purposes. Because you can't let's just talk about it. If you go to 20 and just added a +1 and you added Miami and Duke, because there's a lot of smoke around Duke. They've been pitching to everybody in the Big Ten. What can they do? Mon, you reported on this. They have tailored pitches for everybody. Everyone's buying this Duke pitch, right? And they're going to pay for themselves. Maybe somebody else in the future. You get Miami and Duke. You know how geographically messy that is? You thought that it was bad over on the West Coast? You've got a team in Southern Florida now on an island versus everybody else that's going to go cross-country to USC. Like, that is such a cluster bomb. There's no way that's sustainable, man. No way.
Again, you're thinking they're going to make 4 West Coast trips a year. They may just make 1 West Coast trip a year.
Dude, you're traveling everywhere in the Midwest.
Travel is much easier from Miami to the Midwest than it is from the West Coast to the Midwest. It's much easier.
If Duke is the school, and again, if Duke is the school, you have to consider they would be the first basketball realignment move.
I don't think it's necessary.
Conference realignment, it would be the first. So
I think,
is that the only thing that's going to drive their value?
I think
there's better brands out there.
I think what drives their value is if they're willing to pay to get into the conference. Essentially pay our own media fees. We get into the conference, and maybe they pay an extra fee to help get Oregon and Washington whole. Maybe they pay the fee to help get Miami into the conference. I don't know. But, again, this is an SMU situation on steroids. Duke does not want to be left behind. They don't want to be left behind. And if the SEC takes North Carolina and North Carolina State, the only option that leaves the Big Ten to get into the state of North Carolina is Duke.
Yeah. And like in the Big Ten's not going to take North Carolina State. They're not AAU today. Like, they're not the brand that the Big Ten wants. They're not going to go to the Big Ten, guys. Like, North Carolina State it's the SEC or nothing for those guys, or the Big 12, which is the more likely scenario. I'm going to stay on that, guys. Seriously, right. So, like, it's Duke, North Carolina or Duke. One of the two. North Carolina's
Okay.
leaning so heavy to the SEC. They want them so bad. It seems like that's going to happen unless there's a huge upset there. So Duke is looking pretty square Big Ten wise. Plus, they're a
Okay.
private institution. They can pay their way. They can pay their way. Guys are going to do an SMU deal. And plus, like, they're elite academics. There's a lot of pluses. You get into the market. It's kind of a no-brainer ad when you think about it. If you added Miami and Duke, I could totally see it, guys. It's going to be your +1. But, like, problem of geography exists. I want to pull up a map here. Hey, speak for a second while I pull something up. I got to show you guys something. Okay.
Let me get to a couple comments.
Yeah.
Can I do that really quick? Cody Reviews, 2-month member comment. Thank you so much, Cody. Real sickos watching IFL and NAFL. We'll see Sorsby. I don't know what that is. Moen?
Those are smaller football leagues. I think that's the International Football League and the National Alliance Football League.
Wow.
Or North American Football League, it might be. Those are much smaller leagues. We've got one here in Ohio too. It's like the Great Lakes Football League of.
This is like regional wrestling back was in the day. I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's almost like territory wrestling. It's territory football.
Wow.
I think these two are bigger though. I think they're international. So you got like a Mexico City team and all that stuff.
Okay.
But I think if Brendan Sorsby's going anywhere, it would be the UFL to play in spring ball. And I think that might not be a terrible idea for one season. Let him play in spring ball. Maybe people realize he's got back on the wagon, and we'll go from there.
We have 3 more super chats. You want me to do those? Or you want
You go jump on the super chats, and then we're going to pull up a map. Okay.
Ryan Willie, $5 super chat. Thank you so much, Ryan. Does Congress continue the pursuit of control of college football if the P2 sends out invites before the bill passes? There's so many. We don't really have time, Ryan, for all the things that could happen, the legal machinations. If there is actual movement in the House in the fall that says that some sort of agreement could be made to join and create this deal, then maybe they do something. I don't care about the July 1st deal. That timing doesn't matter to me. I think next year would be what everybody be looking at. But certainly, if the bill, there's just no indication that the House is going to approve this thing. That's the part I just don't think.
It's very unlikely. Get past, guys.
Go ahead.
I was going to say it was also unlikely it would get through the Commerce Committee. You had a bunch of people. I'm not a guy to mention names, but Senator Bernie Moreno of Ohio had said he would vote against it. And in the Commerce Committee, the final vote, he voted for it. So a lot of people are saying they're not for the PCSA. I don't believe them. I don't believe them until I see their vote.
Very fair. PSU Nitwit, $5 super chat. Thank you so much, PSU Nitwit. It's great to have you back in the fold, boy. Who is paying for this? Fox, ESPN? That's kind of follow the money. That's where I'm at.
Who's paying for Realignment?
Moen says Duke is paying for it.
Yeah, Nitwit, you bring up a great question. Who's paying for it? The only guaranteed money that the Big Ten knows they have in a media deal is if they add Notre Dame. Everything else is up in the air. They're either going to have to add a new partner, potentially Amazon. We talked about it. You're a member. We talked about it on the members only video yesterday. Could be potentially Amazon, could be Netflix for the SEC. Otherwise, you're going to have to go to your current partners. And like I just mentioned earlier, Oregon and Washington, that bill was footed entirely by Fox Sports. CBS and NBC, though they benefited from it greatly, did not pay a dime to get Washington and Oregon into the Big Ten. Fox did. So I wouldn't expect any more out of CBS or NBC, which means you're going to be left with Fox or a new partner.
Let's lay this out too. So you're looking at these schools jumping in 2028 at the earliest, and 2029 probably. That's the timeline. You've got 1 year on your media rights deals. You want to tell me that the third most valuable property in the United States behind the NFL and probably the SEC, the Big Ten, out of all the sports leagues, you want to see CBS try to go cheap on you and not pony up a little bit of money for a year's worth of contract for your 2 ads, maybe 4 ads? You want to see if you want to renew that contract in a year? for one of the most valuable properties in the United States and the world. That's bad business, guys. That's stupid business right there. That ain't going to happen. That ain't going to happen, Moan. I promise you.
You have to remember one thing, though. They're renegotiating with the NFL as they speak. That is most valuable.
You're talking about valuable properties.
They need to know, but they need to know how much money they're spending on NFL to see how much money they have left available to spend on college football.
I think that is completely moot point, guys. In my point of view, like you're talking to the 3 most valuable properties in the United States. They're going to spend on all of them. Seriously, the Big Ten, the SEC, and the NFL are the 3 most valuable properties over anything else. Like that's it. You will spend whatever it takes to get those valuable properties. The NFL is going to get insane amount of money in the bag. The Big Ten and the SEC are going to get insane amount of money. Like this new contract for the Big Ten is going to be disgustingly massive. It's going to blow our minds. It's going to be so much bigger than what you have now. It's going to blow your freaking mind, regardless what the NFL does, because you have elite content that's top 3 in the freaking U.S., man, and possibly the world. Maybe the Premier League comes in somewhere. But like this is how valuable the Big Ten is. And so you're going to tell your media partners are going to say, no, we're not going to pony up our little pro rata share on CBS on our diddly squat contract because we don't want to pay for Duke and a Miami on a year's worth contract before we renegotiate. No chance, man. That ain't happening. Or else you're not going to re-up with CBS. They're going to lose a top 3 property sport. It's bad business. That's not going to happen. Maybe in the past when there were 7 years on a deal. But no, you got the leverage. You got them by the balls. You can add whoever you want. They're going to be ponying up, in my view.
Man, you spit facts tonight. I absolutely love it.
I mean, like I'm serious though. Like that's reality though.
I know you are. I listen to you.
If you're running CBS and you're like, no, we're not paying for Duke. You know, like we can just renegotiate next year. Like the Big Ten's going to be like, see ya. We got 10 other platforms that we can play on.
If the Big Ten decides they want Duke, then it's part of the plan. They've worked it into the plan. It's all part of it. That's not going. They're not going to bring a school on without having that long-term 5-year plan out there with a renegotiating bubble, maybe next 24 months. So we'll have to see. Anyway, Mark Bowman, the Iowa Hawkeye in the house, $10 super chat. Which streaming service is first for the Big Ten or SEC? Amazon Prime or Netflix?
Amazon Prime.
SEC's already got Netflix. They've already got content. So
it's important. And if you watch the members only video yesterday, Mark Bowman, Amazon Prime is spending $3.8 billion annually on live sports programming. They spend $1 billion just for the NFL Thursday night game. And
they make money on it. They make mad money.
They make money on it. And they've projected that their spending is going to go up in 2028.
Yes.
So Netflix, a little bit different story. Netflix wants spectacle events.
Yeah, Christmas Day.
They get the Christmas Day games. They get
championship game, maybe.
They get WWE, Raw, and then they get the international pay-per-view or premium live event rights for WWE. But they want spectacle. So it's not beyond me to think that Netflix might get an SEC championship game.
I could see that. Yeah.
An SEC rivalry game like the Iron Bowl. An SEC rivalry game like the Red River rivalry. I mean, they want spectacle. It could be a package of games that are just high-value games that go to Netflix.
Would Fox ever release the rights to the game, Moen?
Probably not. It just draws too much money for all their stations. They're probably not willing to do it. ESPN, on the other hand, maybe if the price is right from Netflix, maybe. If Netflix comes in and says we'll give you $150 million for the Iron Bowl, they maybe take it.
$150 million. Is that the number?
How much again, Moan?
150.
$150 million for one game.
Alabama, Auburn.
That seems a little heavy.
That is, I mean, if they could get it, I would take it. Definitely. Yeah. I would say, give it to me now.
Seriously, right?
That's big coin. I don't know. It's something to talk about. Anyways, we got stuff to get to. I appreciate everybody being here tonight. We do have super chats that are just slowing us down. I appreciate every one of them, by the way. Cody Reviews, another $2 super chat, says they are arena football leagues mowing. So
there you go.
There you
Arena
go.
football.
And this
Let's
is the last
freaking
one.
go.
This is the last one. Doc Gibb checking in. North Carolina State in the house. $5 super chat. Doc Gibb has been with us for a very long time as well. Thank you so much, Doc. It's great to have you here. Does SEC skip state of North Carolina rather than taking NC State and UNC? I think they go to the SEC or the best of the rest. That's where I'm at.
You think that NC State ends up in the is that who you're talking about, Nate?
Yeah, NC State could possibly get there. I went through the tier maker yesterday, and there weren't a lot of other SEC schools I could see going. I take NC State over Virginia Tech.
Look, so Doc, we've got a lot of NC State folks. I've made it clear that I want the Wolfpack in the Big 12. I want my Utes to play the Wolfpack. I want the BYU Cougars to play the Wolfpack. We respect and love the Wolfpack, and I want that to happen. So maybe I'm just going to say that, and so it's coming out of a place where I would want to see NC State in the Big 12. I see them there still. And to answer the question, is it better to have no in the state of North Carolina or two? You need to get in the state of North Carolina. I just think that. So I would say that it's better to have 2 than 0, but I don't think it's really that black and white. I think there's a nuance in there where you can just let them both bleed out. What if UNC is not the first mover and Miami leaves with Duke? Then all of a sudden, the ACC is bleeding out, hemorrhaging and everything because you've lost 2 key members, and then people are panicking. And when people are panicking, then you can strike and get UNC without NC State. I just think it's going to shake out like that. I always have for evaluation purposes. And I think NC State ends up in the Big 12 conference. And I would be super excited about that because I love the Wolfpack and I respect the Wolfpack. I just think that they're a really good fit for the Big 12.
Moen, you want to add anything to that?
I completely disagree with you. I think North Carolina State is coming along with North Carolina to the SEC. A bit of news that kind of flew under the radar this week. Nebraska is now allowed to combine their medical school research with their main campus research in Lincoln. That is going to make it possible for Nebraska to become AAU again. And when they open the books for AAU universities, I think you're probably going to get North Carolina State in as an AAU member. You're probably going to get Virginia Tech in as an AAU member. You're probably going to get Florida State in as an AAU member. And these are all targets for the SEC, and it gives them that extra boost of saying, hey, look, we care about academics. We're adding AAU universities like Florida State, North Carolina State, potentially Virginia Tech if they go beyond 20. But the important thing for the SEC is they want to get into North Carolina. If they have to take North Carolina State and North Carolina to do that, they do that. It's the same reason I think the Big Ten takes Duke ultimately is they want to get into the state of North Carolina. Even though Duke has a smaller enrollment, is a private school, it still gets the Big Ten footprint in North Carolina. And as I mentioned to Greg on the phone last night, we always say this is SEC country, this is Big Ten country. The SEC wants the Southeast to be SEC country. The Big Ten wants the entire country to be a Big Ten country. And I think that's the difference in philosophies when it comes to expansion and realignment. And I think the SEC knows they have to get UNC. And if North Carolina State has to come along as part of that, North Carolina State's going to come along as part of that, and they're probably going to be an AAU member.
SEC, we need to be very careful, though. The SEC, they're making enough money, they don't have to expand. They technically have 2 less schools, and they're making almost exactly what the Big Ten is. And the minute the Big Ten renegotiates, the SEC is going to go renegotiate with ESPN. And if they have to share it with less schools, it's more money these schools make. So I don't necessarily agree that the SEC has to go to 20 if the Big Ten goes 20, 22, 24, whatever.
Both are currently renegotiating. The SEC is currently negotiating.
I know,
with
that's
ESPN.
what I'm saying. So they're talking about these
right.
things
They're not going to wait.
now.
Yeah. SEC's not going to wait till 2035 when their deal comes up.
No, I don't think anybody believes that. There was
just think about
2031, 32 is SEC, but anyway.
from a business perspective, like think about this, guy. Like if the SEC went to 20 teams out of 4, you added Florida State, you're already in the Florida market. You had Clemson, you're already in the South Carolina market, and then you double dip in North Carolina. So what you've done is added one new state to your footprint and doubled down in that state. That's pretty bad business, guys. Like, I'll be honest and stuff. Like, if the game is adding DMAs and adding market share by adding new markets, then that's pretty freaking stupid. Like, just being honest with you from a business perspective. So
we've talked about this for a long
double down
time.
the state, like, if you're going to double down in Florida, which makes sense with the brand like Florida State, then you better be like, hey, we better make 2 new states in our footprint. We better go get DC as well. That's why I've been on this for the last 2 years. Has not changed my thoughts. I think UVA, UNC end up in the SEC together with Clemson, Florida State now. I think those are the 4. I think that always made the most sense. I know there's a lot of stuff going on in Virginia and everything, but I think those 4 make the most sense. You have to get in Virginia and North Carolina if you're the SEC. You cannot just add one more state, man. That's bad business. That is bad business, man.
Let me ask you a question. What DMA does Notre Dame bring?
The Chicago DMA.
They're actually not in the Chicago DMA. I think they're part of the Indianapolis DMA. But they're a national brand, which brings national exposure. National. Florida State is a national brand that brings you national exposure.
Agreed.
Clemson is a national brand that brings you national exposure. You're looking at it as you're doubling up in Florida. Yes, you're getting 2 great brands in Florida and Florida State. You're getting a great brand in South Carolina and Clemson. North Carolina, you're getting a great brand in North Carolina, and North Carolina State isn't some slouch. It's not just a Wolfpack backpack anymore. North Carolina State sells out their stadium quite a bit. North Carolina State does pretty decent in the ratings, and North Carolina State is on the cusp of AAU membership. North Carolina State is not just some school that is an also Ram. I think they bring tremendous value to the SEC, as does the University of North Carolina. It lets you lock the Big Ten out of public universities in North Carolina. The Big Ten has to settle for Duke, which is a smaller private university. And then you maybe get into Virginia later.
Where does Virginia go if that was to happen, Moen? And I don't think that happens. But let's say that happened.
Here's
you don't
the thing.
Get Virginia at all. That's a misplaced run, in my opinion.
Well, here's the thing. I think Virginia
by the SEC.
I think Virginia Tech are going to run by the same deal. So it's either going to be Virginia Tech split between the Power 2 or Virginia Tech go to 1.
Okay.
I think it's the same situation that you find in North Carolina. I think state politics are going to get involved and say you can't leave without taking care of this one. And I don't think a payoff.
And North Carolina, they're the biggest brands in their states, and the SEC gets 2 massive states to add to their footprint.
Yeah,
they do, but again,
part of the Civil War.
Again, how are you getting North Carolina extricated from North Carolina State?
I told you, Moen, it's not a difficult thing.
Just like
painful thing.
I guess
we did a live show like a while back that was the painful severing of the Wolfpack backpack. You remember exactly the playbook for that. You remember what I said. Tell me what I said then. Like, what am I going to say then, Mo?
You got to take into account that North Carolina State has more alumni in both legislative bodies.
I don't care who they have.
Those people ultimately are going to determine. Those people are ultimately going to determine. They're not going to take Carolina money. They're going to say you find a home for NC State in the Power 2. And if you can't find a home for NC State in the Power 2. You guys are just going to have to stick it out in the ACC.
And you both burn. Yeah, that
doesn't
going
make
on, man.
any
that ain't going to work.
Sense. That doesn't make
That doesn't make any sense. Like it's
here's the problem, guys.
Say, but then it makes no sense.
You're looking for sense among politicians.
No, I'm looking at big dollars going to the best schools, the schools that get the most press in Virginia and Virginia Tech. I don't mean to say the best schools. I mean the schools that supposedly are the leaders in those states, the ones that people identify with the most. Those guys are the ones that draw all the attention. You think Calamoni won't work in North Carolina? It won't work in Virginia? If it worked, I mean, the most liberal state in the entire country is California. If something like that can happen in California, why couldn't it happen in Virginia and North Carolina? It doesn't make any sense, Moen. Like, logically, it doesn't make any sense.
But I can go as deep as you want to.
Honestly, you're looking at it from the wrong perspective, I think. I think UCLA, the argument UCLA made legally made more sense with the California system. North Carolina and North Carolina State have a different arrangement with their board of governors. And I think you're going to find that if the SEC wants to get in North Carolina bad enough, they will take 2 schools in North Carolina. And I think the Big Ten is going to be told the same thing.
So now we're back to the conversation of Clemson and Florida State get left out, and they take Virginia Tech, they take North Carolina State, they take North Carolina, and now they've not only buttressed themselves up in the Mid-Atlantic, but now all of a sudden you don't double dip in a Florida. You don't double dip.
Yes, you double dip in a Florida with a national brand. You double dip in a South Carolina with a national brand. You double dip in North Carolina with a national brand. I'm not saying Virginia and Virginia Tech don't find their way into the Power 2. I just don't think they find their way into the Power 2 right away. I think that's if the SEC decides to go to 22, they'll add a Virginia and a Virginia Tech. Or if the Big Ten says we need Virginia that badly, the SEC will take Virginia Tech to get into Virginia.
And then I go back to PSU Nitwit's comment, which is, where's the money coming from to do all these expansions and all this? I mean, we're talking hundreds of millions of dollars, Moen. They have to pay to leave a conference.
I don't disagree with you. I think that they're renegotiating with ESPN. I think there's spenders out there. Listen, Amazon just spent $3.8 billion on live sports last year. That's more than some networks do. There is money in streaming, and they can add a streaming partner that will cover these costs. They will overspend. If you keep in mind that Amazon actually offered the Big Ten more for that 3:30 game than CBS did.
Then why didn't they take it?
Because the presidents were more concerned about exposure.
I think that's right. That is a big concern.
Was before streaming was as big as it is now. So I think with streaming, I think they say, this is the future. Let's add a streaming partner, and that streaming partner is going to cover a good portion of the cost.
This is what sucks. And I'm just going to say this, and we can move on to a different topic. But at the end of the day, what sucks is we're talking about these states like they're pieces of meat, and they're getting carved up like they're pieces of meat. And that part of college football is broken. There should be a P2. There should be a one conference that not conference, but one organization, 72 teams or something that gets together. It's more than half of all of college football, and you play football. The idea that we're talking about separating these universities that are historic, very important universities because they don't bring the dollars, or their DMA isn't big enough, or whatever these. It's very frustrating to be a part of those conversations because none of these people deserve to get screwed. Oregon State, Washington State did not deserve to get screwed. That's what this comes down to, is that there is this runaway and hide idea that there are conferences that think that they're better than everybody else, and they can just go off, take the best of every little state that they want, and everybody else just gets left to fight for themselves. It's very, very frustrating to even imagine that's where we're going to be, and yet you continue to represent that that's where the world is at. And
listen,
for me to
Nate,
that.
I'm going to tell people ugly truths instead of beautiful lies.
Okay.
If I want to tell people beautiful lies, I'll go on Twitter and name myself Genetics 57 and just lie to people.
56. You can take Genetics 56.
No, I'm 57. I'm one above.
Okay.
I can do that. But that's not. And listen, nobody was thinking about Rice, SMU, Houston, or TCU when the Southwestern Conference was devoured by the Big Eight.
There wasn't. It's not. But we're in a different media world.
It's the same. No, it's the same thing, Nate. You could say, well, it's a different time, but no, it's all the same predation. It's all the same bad habit. It's all goes back to,
or is it schools trying to align themselves in the best position? Who went to who? Did Oklahoma and Texas go to the SEC, or did the SEC go to Oklahoma and Texas?
I think they both.
Because if you say SEC did it, then they broke every rule in the book.
I understand that. I understand that. And you got it's not.
Okay, so
it's not about what you know. It's about what you can prove.
All right. Well, we can turn the page.
We'll get to super chats, guys.
Let's get to some super chats,
I know.
guys. Like,
yeah, $5 super chat from Peek Around the Corner, Greg Flukar,
Let's go.
Minnesota State, week 2. By the way, we did have the great Mississippi Bulldog join the show tonight. I forgot I was going to mark his comment. Anyway, Bulldog, appreciate you being here tonight. Anyways, $5 super chat. Let's go Gophers. Got to get that out.
Let's go Goldie.
Eagle Badger, another $2 super chat. Mississippi State by 10 over Minnesota.
Ooh.
That number is probably on Polymarket. You probably looked that one up, Ryan. Cody Views.
Mississippi State's got a new coach.
Man, I love
Cody says we hate UNC. Better to both burn than let them win. Cody, I think
understand that.
That is a true fan right there.
I completely understand the rivalry, but at the end of the day, it makes conference realignment makes strange bedfellows. I'm talking to a Michigan guy, and you guys are probably going to be backed in with UNC.
Kenneth Maynard, another valuable member of the College Football Mafia, is tonight a East Carolina Pirate. We appreciate him. $10 super chat. NC State is a great ad for the SEC. See, RDU International Airport is 2 miles from the stadium. NC State football draws almost 60,000 for game day. To own NC, you would need UNC and NC State University double dip.
Yeah, I know that's the Moen point of view too. That's a lot of people's point of view. I think that the painful severing of the Wolfpack backpack is a simple thing, guys. It's not a complex thing. If it's politics and state that's causing the backpack, then simply let realignment happen. Let the Big Ten take Miami and Duke and see what happens. See what kind of blood spills out. See what kind of squirming in the ACC goes on. What kind of desperation. You think there's desperation now? Wait till that happens. And then just to see where everyone wants to get on a power 2 lifeboat. Then everything you're saying, all the big talk, all the leverage and stuff's out the window, and you're just trying to jump on to get to higher ground at that point. So your politics are irrelevant at that point when you're both about to get left behind on a newly negotiated ACC media deal that's way less than it currently is right now. It's going to be extremely painful. That's the situation you probably need to wait for to strike. Then you get UNC. You don't need to double up at that point. You get whatever you want because you've created enough uncertainty right there. That is the painful severing of the Wolfpack backpack. That's what I think happens.
All right. You guys go ahead, Mo.
I think we owe some sounders here. So let's go ahead and get some sounders for super chats going.
Let me go deeper than that, you.
But I can go as deep as you want to.
Oh my gosh.
I'm not used to being taken advantage of. Moen is using and abusing us.
You're a bad man, Moen. You're a bad man.
You saying you can't control your bitches?
Pimpin' ain't easy. Oh, sleazy. Pimpin' ain't easy. Pimpin' ain't easy. Pimpin' ain't easy.
Moen, I found that over the years.
Wild Ute. Where is the Wild Ute super sounder? That's the one I want back. If you're gonna burn me like that, you got to add back the
sucking you.
Thank you.
And you're sick of it. I get it.
Let's go. All right. I'm going to
drink that milk, baby. Drink that milk. Moen, I found something. Okay. Every time the Moen doesn't like a counter argument, he always goes to those personal sounders. I know your game, Moen. I know it.
It doesn't bother me. I'm used to it now. All right. I'm going to take off. Thank you so much for keeping me overtime, you guys. I hope everybody has a great weekend. Moen, you have a show Friday or Sunday night. What's that coming up?
Absolutely. We got Moen After Dark, joined by my friend Rock and Rant, my partner, Miami alumnus. We're going to probably talk about Miami to the Big Ten. I know he wants to talk about it. We're just trying to figure out who's +1, who's +3, who's +5. But Ute and I will suss that out here in just a moment. I want to thank everybody for watching the channel. We're at 343 total live viewers. If you're watching us over on Twitter X, consider coming over to YouTube at the CFB Mafia, giving us a like and a subscribe. Those help us out tremendously in the algorithm. And if you would like to support the channel financially, you can leave us a super chat, become a member, gift a membership. We got a lot of great members only benefits. Check them out. And for that, we want to say thank you to Nate for joining us tonight. And Ute and I, we've got the captain's chair. So we're probably going to be jockeying for control over the captain's chair. I've got a fatter ass. I think I've got more chance to control the captain's chair than you, but we'll see.
Pimping ain't easy.
We'll see.
All
Pimping
right,
ain't
all
easy.
right. Everybody have a great weekend. We'll see you next week for my live call-in show Tuesday night. And everybody have a good weekend. Stay safe. And we'll see you guys later. Thank you so much for all that you guys have done for the channel. We'll talk to you later. Peace out and go Cougars. See ya.
So Moen, check it out. You got your Glen Carn? You got any whiskey in it still?
I got a
Dude,
whole
come on,
bottle
man.
of
It's a
whiskey.
Glen Carn. Hey, this one's to the Hurricanes, okay? This one's to the Hurricanes. Cheers to the Hurricanes and your likely Big Ten entry, okay? So everybody out there too, cheers to you, community, for getting this channel to 6K subs.
Absolutely.
Seriously, thank you all for making this channel amazing. We love doing this. We love being with you every week. Cheers to all of you. Let's take a quick drink, then we're going to get back into Miami. All right, so Moen, check it out. Okay.
+1, +3, +5.
All right, we're going to go and talk about Miami for a second, okay?
We're going to talk prime numbers here. Let's go.
We're talking prime numbers. Okay, check it out. Okay, let's just play the game where we say Miami is the first edition in realignment, and they go to the Big Ten Conference, right? Let's just go through that exercise, right? Let me show you the map, okay? This is a map of the Big Ten. And Miami's down bottom right here, and I threw Duke into because, look, Duke is a little bit more uncertain as far as their landing place. It's going to be the Big Ten or some best of the rest. The SEC isn't a likely avenue for the Duke Blue Devils. But, look, there's a lot of steam right now, momentum around Duke with the Big Ten, as we've talked about a lot. So I'm going under the assumption that Miami and Duke here are going to be Big Ten members. But I just wanted to lay this out too. Okay, so you can see Duke right there, square in North Carolina, and how close geographically, visually to the North Carolina is to Maryland and Purdue and Ohio State and Penn State. I mean, you're in the same cluster there. I mean, you are, much more north than Miami. And Miami down there, bottom right, is on its own little island. I mean, Miami is at the very bottom of Florida, just as a reminder to everybody. And look how far Miami is away from Washington, Moen. And look how far Miami is away from Minnesota. Like, here's the point, okay? Miami geographically is extremely far away from every single Big Ten school. You'd be closest to Duke, of course, and stuff. So over time, that is going to cause a serious issue. We know how big a deal that is to USC and UCLA still, because you have to do all that travel from the West Coast to the Midwest where the Big Ten is. My point is this. I don't think that if Miami and Duke are the adds, that 20-team Big Ten conference is doable given this geography. You need more teams in the Southeast.
I don't disagree with you, but here's the thing. You've got to dislodge Notre Dame.
Yes.
You've got to put Notre Dame to the task. While the ACC exists as it is, and here I am being an asshole with the ugly truth again. While the ACC exists, Notre Dame can maintain their independence. They've got a sweetheart deal with the ACC. They really do. They've got a sweetheart deal. They got a deal with Clemson. Basically, they control the ACC. I mean, that was demonstrated when they added SMU, Stanford, and Cal. 3 of your biggest brands said no. 4 of your biggest brands said no. And Notre Dame got their way, because Notre Dame threatened the ACC, I'm sure. And now Notre Dame is upset because Miami got into the college football playoff deservedly over Notre Dame. I'm not saying Notre Dame didn't deserve to be in the playoffs. I'm saying Miami deserved to be in over them. So until you get rid of the ACC, until you destabilize the ACC, Notre Dame is never going to be put to the question. They have an out. So if you go 20, and we'll operate on Miami +1, I won't say Duke. I'll just say Miami +1. Mr. Wizard told me Miami +1 ACC. That's what we're going with. So it's Miami plus one of these ACC schools. Might be Georgia Tech, might be Duke, could be a Clemson, probably not a Florida State. You dislodge them. Now the ACC is in panic mode if you're the Big Ten. Now the SEC comes in and says, what do we want? And the SEC takes what they want. At that point, the ACC is in a free fall. Notre Dame says, how do we get out of this, out from under this? And I think at that point, Notre Dame says, it's time. Notre Dame joins the Big Ten Conference. And then I think you add a West Coast school. You can add an East Coast school. It's all going to be dependent on what the Big Ten wants to do. I know Greg has finally come up. Greg originally said 20 only. Greg has now come up to 22. I think 24 is still the number. I think you're adding somebody else in the Southeast. You're adding 2 West Coast schools, and you're adding Notre Dame.
Yeah, I'm with you 100% on that. On that viewpoint and stuff, and the geography is the reason for it, just to give more evidence on that. Because like Notre Dame right there, they're going to be smack. If we stuck them on the map, they're between Purdue and Indiana. They're in the state of Indiana. They're right there. They're in the middle of Big Ten country. That doesn't help Miami geographically. Like, you got a problem here. If you add Miami, you have to help them out, man.
Here's the thing, and I'll explain how this does help Miami geographically. The Big Ten knows the number to get Notre Dame into the conference. That number is going to cover Notre Dame, and it's probably going to cover other additions.
Mm-hmm.
So it could cover a Georgia Tech in Atlanta. It can cover Utah in Utah. It could cover a Cal in California. If Stanford sees that Duke enters the Big Ten Academic Alliance and Cancer Research Consortium, maybe it loosens Stanford from their stance and they join. Maybe it doesn't. But maybe, you know. But Notre Dame joining is going to bring a lot more to expansion because they have they know the number. They know what NBC is going to pay, what CBS is going to pay, what Fox is going to pay. Adding 19 and 20, you probably don't know anybody yet who's got that figure. You've probably heard things from Amazon. Certain figures floated around. Well, if you get Miami and Duke and you have additional inventory, we'll pay you this. If Duke is going to say, hey, we're coming in and we'll cover ourselves and we'll make Washington and Oregon whole, then all you got to worry about is Miami. It comes down to economics and business partners. And I think, listen, you have to get to 20 before you can go to 22. And you have to get to 22 before you can get to 24.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. And like, let's just talk about adding Notre Dame, which is right in the Big Ten footprint right here, for Purdue and Indiana, as we've talked about. Then Duke and Miami. Let's just say those 3 are in, right? Like, Miami's still on its own island.
Yeah,
right?
and I mean,
at that point, you've got 21 members, right? You've got 3 more spots. So where do you go? Do you go to Clemson? Do you go to Georgia Tech or FSU?
Well, I don't think
Clemson's down there.
I don't think Clemson's available to you at that point. I think the SEC's already gobbled up Clemson. But again, I want to point out, you keep saying Notre Dame is tucked into Indiana. They are tucked into Indiana. They're a national brand. They're used to travel. It's a national brand that is used to travel. So even though they're in Indiana, they're probably going to be traveling out west once a year or once every 2 years to play Southern California. If Cal or Stanford get added, they're probably traveling out there every year to California. Every few years, they're going to have to travel out to Oregon, to Washington. Again, Miami, I know it's down on the southern tip of Florida, but Miami has a very large international airport. It's not like it's a huge deal for Miami to travel up to Duke, Maryland, Rutgers, Penn State, Georgia Tech. These are probably teams. If you go to 24, you're going to have 4 pods of 6 teams. Their pod is probably going to be the Atlantic Coast pod, which is going to include Rutgers, Penn State, Maryland, Duke. We'll call Georgia Tech in there. We'll say Georgia Tech and Miami. So it's not that much travel. Now, are they going to have an occasional trip to Washington, Oregon, Southern California, and UCLA, and maybe a Cal and a Utah or Cal and a Stanford? Yes. But so are all these other schools. I get, listen, the Big Ten wants a national brand. They need national footprint. This is why they like the Salt Lake City market. And I know a lot of people, Nate's not here, so now I can talk about this. The Big Ten does like the Salt Lake City market, not for what it is now, but what they see in 25, 30, 40, 50 years. So adding a Utah actually reduces travel for a lot of these schools. A trip for Nebraska to Utah isn't as long as a trip from Nebraska to Seattle.
Right. And like, it makes sense. Like, we're talking about, you and I both agree that this thing is going to 24 eventually, probably sooner than later. And like, yeah, you laid it out. So like, I'm just looking visually too. So if you did add Duke and Miami, and then you grabbed a Georgia Tech or even like a Clemson, Florida State or whatever, and you potted that out, then you'd have a Rutgers, Penn State, Maryland, Duke, Miami, and whoever in a 16 pod. That makes sense, Moan. That makes sense. Like, if you do that, you make travel a lot easier for all those schools, especially Miami. And then all of a sudden you go west, you add 2 more teams. You had Stanford, Utah, or Cal, and you've got 16 pod out there too. This totally makes sense, like just logistics and everything on how this could work. So I do understand what you're saying. Like, if you're going to go to a pod system in a 24-team Big Ten, adding Miami and Duke makes sense. But if you're not going to go to a pod and you're going to be a 20-team conference with just a cluster of travel without any kind of podding, then Miami's in a miserable travel position.
If you go to 20, you just do 5-team pods. You'd have Rutgers, Penn State, Maryland, Duke, Miami. You play all 5 teams in your pod, or all 4 teams in your pod, and then that leaves you 6 teams. You could play 2 from each pod and alternate it each year.
Who's out west though, Moan? You going to stick Nebraska out west in a pod?
No, I think you would.
5?
I think eventually you would add a Utah, but yes, you would have to move Nebraska to the West Coast Conference.
Yeah. Man.
But I don't think, but again, I think it's important to keep in mind here what I think happens, and this is speculation on my part, some educated speculation, but speculation. I think the Big Ten gets to 20. Then I think the Big Ten gets to 22. Then I think it gets to 24.
Yeah.
I think if you're going to split off, if they're going to do this silo, as Greg calls it, this silo, you need to have 24 teams. You want the Big Ten to be a national conference. And the only place where you would not have representation is where the Southeastern Conference football print is. Really, I mean, let's say,
and the whole Rocky Mountain.
Well, if you add a
region.
Utah or you add a Colorado, you get into the Rocky Mountains,
Right.
and then you add a Cal as your. If Stanford still says no, which Stanford might, I mean, Stanford, the money is too strong for them to probably try and get away from the IPLC, all their own patents they own, et cetera, the internships. So let's say it's Cal and Utah, which is a combination we've heard in the 24 range. So you've got Utah in the mountains, you've got Cal in the Bay Area. You reunite UCLA and Cal. There's no more calimony. Let's say you add Georgia Tech. This is just, again, example. We're adding Georgia Tech to the Southeast. Right. You've got Notre Dame. You know, that's 24. And that gets you coverage in the mountains. That gets you coverage across the West Coast, coverage against the Atlantic coast, and you control the Midwest, which is your power structure, has traditionally been your power structure. Right there you have it. You've got Ohio State, Penn State, Michigan, Notre Dame. Indiana's on the come up. Wisconsin's on the come up. Nebraska still can't figure shit out. Iowa's a perennial team that's been tough. Illinois is coming up. I mean, you've seen something incredible in the Big Ten within the last year. Indiana, who used to be one of the losingest teams in the sport, has suddenly climbed to be national champions. And a lot of people have them penciled in with Josh Hoover to be defending that national championship in the national championship game this year. So, I mean, it's not beyond the realm of possibility that the Big Ten could go to 24, especially if you're going to split away from the NCAA. The SEC splits away. They've got a 20-team conference. Now, they may choose to move. They may go to 22 or 24. They may say, give us Virginia, Virginia Tech, and we'll take Oklahoma State, and we'll take Kansas. And that's our 24 team. After taking Florida State and Clemson and North Carolina State.
That would be, yeah. I'm with you. This is like, just looking at this visually is just kind of blowing my mind a little bit. Like UVA, if Georgia Tech doesn't make the Big Ten, UVA could easily be stuck into this pod too. And Miami still, it's not going to travel. You're not traveling that much more adding UVA if you have that pod out east. So you could really have a UVA or a Georgia Tech logistically. Makes total sense to have a 16 pod out there. And I'm just looking like on the map too. If you had Notre Dame, if you had Notre Dame in like a pod, and you're trying to create a pod with Indiana, Notre Dame, Ohio State, and Michigan.
Yeah, that's the thing. You're
Dude.
going to end up with a legends and leaders situation where you're not going to have a geographic pod in here. You're going to have a balanced pod that's probably going to be Ohio State, Michigan, Michigan State, Northwestern, Illinois, Iowa, and then you'd have Minnesota, Wisconsin, Purdue, Indiana, Notre Dame. You'd be in a situation like that. So, again, you could do regional West Coast, regional East Coast. Your Midwest is probably going to be a little more mixed up in that old legends and leaders format. So
just imagine that, like, too, like we're talking about if they went to 24, like the opportunities if you had pods creating your own mini playoff, like you would have, based on what we're talking about, you'd have a pod of Penn State and Miami. You'd have a pod of Michigan and Ohio State. You'd have a pod of Notre Dame, Indiana, and like Wisconsin, like Nebraska. You'd have a pod of Oregon, USC, and throw Utah in that, Washington in that. Dude, that is incredible, man. Just to win your pod would be incredibly difficult.
Well, and here's the thing with the college football playoff format. If the Big Ten thinks they're seriously going to contemplate that, the Big Ten might break away from the breakaway of 24 and go to 16. Yeah. They may say, let's do a 16-team playoff. And we're not going to do a conference championship game. We're just going to name who the champions of the pods are, and we'll go from there. So something to keep in mind, but let me get to some super chats and some member milestones. Member milestone, Amazing Blue. Cheers, fellas, and you don't worry, Utah will be Big Ten.
Cheers to you. Cheers.
Cheers to you, Amazing Blue. I crossed the line today. I'm sorry.
Moen talked to a new source that is a Michigan source, Amazing Blue. It's the first time Moen's crossed this line, and he's having some. I
have crossed the line. Kenneth Maynard, the Pirate Gator, says, I know it's for historical reasons in the SEC, but if you're doubled up in Mississippi, you certainly can do it in a growing market like North Carolina. You can also do it in South Carolina. You can also do it in Florida. I don't think it's beyond the realm of possibility, Kenneth. I think North Carolina State, and I mentioned it on Greg's show, he did the Florida State money perch. Florida State money perch said Florida State, Clemson, North Carolina, and North Carolina State, and I think that might be right. I think if the SEC goes to 24, they've got to go to 21st, and then probably 22, and then probably 24. But I believe that's entirely possible. Thank you for the super chat, Kenneth. I appreciate that. Evil Badger, Ryan Willie, Wild Youth, there's only a difference of about 180 miles between Madison, Salt Lake City, Madison, Miami.
Really? That's pretty interesting, actually.
Okay. He says that's interesting. He's got the pirate thing on. Let's do an ECU one for him.
Man, that's crazy. The
pirate history. You are a pirate.
I guess, that kind of makes sense from like Eva Badge. Look at that. Yeah, your nails on that one. I think that speaks to the need of the West Coast teams needing a pod out, though, right? With the travel issues they've had.
Let me give this a little bit to Ryan Willie. I know he's a fan of the old school.
Hey, you want to go to war? You want a war? You're going to get one.
Thank you for the super chat, Ryan Willie. And Amazing Blue, I've already played Hail to the victors. If you weren't here earlier, you missed it, unfortunately, but I will go ahead and play a Michigan sounder for you anyway. Here's a good one.
Whoa, he has trouble with the snap, and the ball is free. It's picked up by Michigan State's Jalen Watts Jackson, and he scores on the last play of the game.
Thank you for the membership for 20 months, Amazing Blue. You have to forgive me. I couldn't resist. I was like Leonardo or Christoph Waltz's character in Django Unchained. I couldn't resist playing that song for you.
You need a Tarleton. I'm gonna give you a Tarleton right there. Here.
I need a Tarleton cigar. You know, they used to come up with cigars in the 1970s, and they discontinued the Tarleton cigars, and I was really upset by that. Vox Quindaro says Kansas fits into the SEC like Arkansas fit into the SWC. By the way, he's not here tonight, but Evan Gully, if you happen to be watching on demand, I'm a man of my word, and here you go.
Pig Suey Razorbacks!
There you go. Got you a little bit of the Pig Suey Razorbacks call for you. I appreciate that. Mason Blue says you always play that one for me, Mo, and I'll give you another one. Hold on. Let me look in television, maybe movies. Let's do television. Let's see here.
Whatever, I do what I want.
There you go, Mason Blue. I got you one little Cartman saying whatever, do what I want. But here, you're from Ann Arbor, where laws are a little less restricted. Some guy picks you up in a van and you can buy mushrooms.
What? Where?
Ann Arbor.
Is that what your source told you, Mom?
What have I told you about drugs?
That there's a time and a place for everything, and it's called college.
That's right.
My source did not have to tell me that. I've learned that one. Ann Arbor, I always say this, Ann Arbor would be a great town if it just didn't have the University of Michigan in it. Daryl CRH says Colorado's happy in the Big 12. Surprised Moen doesn't play announcer of Michigan App State. That is coming to the soundboard, Stormy Cyclone. That's already on the list, along with Bill O'Reilly saying, F it, we'll do it live. Stephen Pitts says, good job, Moen. I'm a Razorback fan also. Stephen Pitts just became a member tonight, so
let's go.
I figured out what team he is. I gave him the Stewie Pig Squeal Razorback, so I did good.
Play that
Moen
again now that we know more about this. Moen. Like I didn't know exactly what you're going into when you played that before.
Here we go.
Pig Suey Razorbacks!
There's a YouTube video that, dude, there's like this hog calling competition from about a decade to 2 decades ago. Have you ever seen that YouTube video?
I've seen live hog calling.
Dude, we should
so.
we should watch it. Oh man, I love freaking Arkansas. I can't wait for Arkansas hog fans to come into Rice Eccles and do the freaking hog calls, man. I will love to share a beer with any Arkansas fans coming to town. Seriously.
I've witnessed live pig calling, and I've witnessed live greased pig contests. So, and good luck catching a greased pig. Kenneth Maynor, the Pirate Gator, says Kansas to the SEC makes total sense. Reunite some of the old Big 12 within the SEC. Sure. I mean, if you're going to add Oklahoma State, might as well.
Yeah. I think you need to go to 24, probably for Kansas to feel real good about getting in the SEC. But like, man, Oklahoma State and KU to the SEC, it does make a lot of sense. You get a lot of bang for the buck with that.
I'm from Ohio, Moen, and Cincinnati, sir. He probably likes that disgusting chili. There you go.
Well, that changes pretty much fucking everything. Count me in.
Thank you for being from Ohio, Amazing Blue. I don't know what happened to you in your youth that made you root for Michigan. Radioactive exposure. I don't I don't know. But thanks for being a member, and thank you for the super chat, sir.
Winner, baby.
Don't put winner up there. He's not a winner.
Dude, they won the freaking college basketball national championship. Michigan wins all the
that
time.
doesn't mean anything.
They're
It's all
winners,
about
man.
football. They lost the game. And Brutus stomped out the Michigan.
Does this make you feel better, Moan? If we throw
Yeah,
the Brutus
that does. That does. I need to alter that to where Michigan's M is underneath that.
You're bad, man, Moan.
I'm a bad man. I bet Bert regrets going to Arkansas. He probably does, but I mean, listen, I keep trying to tell people Bert at Illinois is probably my favorite coach in the Big Ten outside of Ryan Day. I love Bert. I love the fact that he'll go out there and say things. I love the fact that he'll go out there on the field and antagonize an opposing coach in a bowl game to throw him off his game and ultimately win, especially when that coach for South Carolina believed that he was entitled to a playoff berth.
Moan, have you ever thought about, like, if you weren't an Ohio State fan, who you'd probably be a fan of? Like, just imagine yourself somewhere else. Like, who do you think you would align with if you were in Ohio State? Like, who's your SEC team? Like, in your mind's eye and everything that.
So if I was in hell, if I was in hell.
You gonna say Michigan, Moan? Are you gonna say Michigan?
I'd probably keep it within the Big Ten. It's my conference. It's what I know growing up. You know, I remember Big Ten back to the 1980s. I would probably be a fan of Northwestern. That was my first choice school to try and get into. I didn't get into Northwestern, so I would probably be a Northwestern guy.
Dude, you would not be a
and it would probably be a hard life for me. Dude, look at the jacket and the hat. I am dressed to be a Northwestern guy. I would be a Wildcat. That was my dream school to get into, was Northwestern. Didn't get into Northwestern, got into Ohio State. Ohio State, much as I am a fan of the Buckeyes, Ohio State was my fallback. So I would probably be a fan of the Northwestern Wildcats.
So I would have loved to get into Texas, but I probably wouldn't have got in. I probably ended up at Texas A&M. Probably would have gone to Texas A&M. And I would have loved to go to Florida and be a Gator, but I probably would have, ended up somewhere else, maybe like a Miami or something. I don't know. Probably couldn't have got into Florida either, to be honest with you. So, but I always love Florida. Yeah, Florida Gators, man. That's the school that I would have loved to be in.
And that's interesting, because Urban Meyer was the coach at Utah before he was the coach at Florida.
Yeah.
And he was the coach at Florida before he was the coach at Ohio State. 6 degrees of separation with Urban Meyer. Stay tuned here on the College Football Mafia. If Moen wasn't AOH crap fan, he'd be awesome. One, it's not Ohio. Ohio University is just down the road from me in Athens. It's the Ohio State University. Sorry, I had to correct you there. But Daniel Gygax, thank you for the super chat, Amazing Blue. Let me see.
I think that Daniel's right about this. I could totally see you being.
He's my best friend. He's my pal. He's my homeboy. My rotten soldier.
Daniel, I would be a Mountaineer. I'd love to go to Mountaineer for the tailgate, but I just can't. And I've got family ties to the university. We've talked about it. My great uncle was a professor there. I probably couldn't do it, though, because of what it's become academically. And I know that sounds ridiculous, and we're supposed to all say, we're college football fans, and academics don't matter. To me, they matter. I like being a fan of an academic university, which is why I like being a fan of Ohio State. They put an emphasis on academics. They don't treat, their degrees, like their toilet paper, and I like them for that.
Yeah.
I think Columbus will shutter Kent and Akron altogether soon. That's why Marino voted for the PCSA. Listen, if Vivek Ramaswamy gets his way, they will close Kenton and Akron, and they'll become excellent centers, whatever the hell that is. Which is why Vivek Ramaswamy doesn't have my vote. I don't want to see the MAC torn apart. Sam 8911 SK says my mom and granddad went to Ohio State. They're good people, Sam. You make sure you thank and hug them every day. And if they're not here, you visit their graves often and offer praise to them for becoming Buckeyes.
Didn't Buckeyes have back 30 years ago? Wasn't it pretty easy to get into Ohio State, Moen? It hasn't gotten much more difficult.
Excuse me. Excuse me? Says the guy with a Utah degree. Excuse me? How dare you?
Oh, my man.
Yogi Buck says you couldn't get into Florida or Florida State if you couldn't get into Texas.
Texas is actually really hard to get into.
Texas is a good school. I have a good friend whose son went to Texas. It's a very good school.
Especially for an out-of-stater. It's really hard to get into Texas if you want to be a Longhorn.
It's the Oh Crap University. Oh crap. I don't think that's the case. I mean, oh crap would be more if your team did something like this. And, I know I played it already, but screw it. I'm going to play it again.
Whoa, he has trouble with the snap, and the ball is free. It's picked up by Michigan State's Jalen Watts Jackson, and he scores on the last play of the game.
By the way, Michigan had a 99.8% chance of winning before that play happened. 99.8%.
Wasn't that the Surrender Cobra Kid game too?
I have no idea. That's the game where where Michigan decided to punt it on 4th down. There was hardly any time left on the clock. The punter had trouble with the snap. He decided to try and kick it. He ended up getting hit, and it tossed right into the breadbasket of a Michigan State player. He ran to the end zone, and then his teammates broke his leg for him. The teammates piling on him broke his leg. Yeah, he didn't play the rest of the season. And that's the kid right there. I can see it on your thing.
Yeah.
Let's go ahead and bring it up.
That's this game right here, man.
I'll try not to have explosive growth when I see this. Yes, that is the game. And a few frames later, there's a couple Michigan State guys getting ready to leave, and the Michigan State guys far more concerned with zipping up his jacket than celebrating the fact that Michigan State just achieved what many thought was impossible. Fantastic game. It's one of the top 5 college football games of all time, right up there with the Big Ten's initial broadcast of their first football game on the Big Ten Network. Do you know what it was?
The first football game on the Big Ten Network, it would probably be it seems like it'd be Northwestern, Minnesota.
It was number 5 Michigan against unranked FCS Appalachian State.
No way. Are you serious? When they beat them?
Yep.
No, that was the first Big Ten game?
I was in Ohio Stadium. It was the end of the Ohio State game. We were all exiting. We all stopped to watch the big screen they have there, and we watched Appalachian State block the kick, and Appalachian State has it. And Appalachian State pulled what many consider the upset of the century, beating number 5 top-ranked Michigan in the Big House as an unranked FCS opponent. And after that, every Michigan fan told me about how great Appalachian State was.
Moen, is there any way that we can get a new media asset overlay of this Surrender Cobra for future episodes?
I'm sure we could probably find a GIF of it and we can put it. I have no problem. Listen, that might be something we
need a Surrender Cobra. We gotta have
it. I would be motivated to do that. Let's see here. The Eye Patch 11. I haven't seen you around here before, brother. Thanks for dropping in. Consider giving us a like and a subscribe. Helps us out tremendously. We just passed 6K. We're on the march to 10. Pounding shots on this show. Here. I think that requires a drink. What are you drinking? And what are you drinking tonight? You
Man, I'm drinking the monkey shoulder. I sent Moan some monkey shoulder. It's like a really reasonably priced Scotch whiskey. You got to try it. It's good stuff. Very drinkable. Nothing fancy though for me tonight. You got the good stuff.
I am drinking the Crown XO. You treated me to a bottle of it, and now I'm living beyond my means and buying Crown XO.
Hey, cheers me. Cheers me. Moan. Hey, see. Hey, cheers. There we go. Boom.
Boom.
There we go. That's what I'm talking about.
God, that's smooth.
It is good, huh?
There probably should consolidation down to 4G4 conferences, dropping the scraps of CUSA and MAC to FCS. I think what you might see happen is if the Power 2, as we call them, decides to quick strike, I think you're probably going to see the American and the Pac do something.
Man, if the quick strike happens, you know what's going to break loose. All of it. Think about it, like what happens with the ACC, and just like, dude, if you grabbed Miami and Duke, we're saying quick strike, just imagine what that does in ACC country. And then like what that means for realignment for ACC and like the effects of that for Big 12, it's going to cause more madness than we've seen. Like think about it, like when Texas and Oklahoma happened, it was just blew everyone's mind, right? Everyone's talking about it for a year and everything. USC happens and Oregon and Washington come along, all that drama, 6 months of drama. But like, dude, this is going to be like years of realignment hemorrhaging. If that happens and when that happens, it's Darwinism.
Yeah, listen. Amazing Blue comes back and says, I can't say that, Mo, and Andy Katz went to your school. If you're talking about the big cat, Andy Katzenmoyer, he's one of the greatest linebackers in college football history. If you want to see one of the hardest hits in college football history, look up Andy Katzenmoyer, Missouri quarterback. He hit that guy so hard his grandkids are feeling it.
No way, seriously.
Yes. Hit that guy so hard he didn't even need dental surgery for years afterwards. He just completely straightened his teeth. One of the all-time great hits in college football. Thank you for the super chat, though, Amazing Blue. I'll give you another sounder. Let's see. Whatever I drunkenly pick here.
Some milk. Give him some milk.
Well, hello, Mr. Fancy Pants. I got news for you, pal. You ain't leading but two things right now. Jack and shit. And Jack left town.
Thank you for the super chat, Amazing Blue. Do appreciate it. Florida's a great school. You fortunate to have went there. Yeah, Florida's a fantastic school.
That Florida game versus Utah I went to a couple of years ago was so cool. I've been to a lot of college football stadiums and like, dude, I know in Columbus they might have this moment, but this was very impressive. Like the fact that you drive by so many houses that were just painted in Florida Gator color, and that's it. Like the whole house, the roof, everything was in like that Gator green. That blew my freaking mind to see like multiple houses painted that color, man. That's incredible. Like that environment is awesome, man. I love SEC football. I love all football, but like that was really cool.
Yeah, listen, hey, I mean, if you drive through off-campus housing or on-campus housing in Columbus, they're not painted scarlet and gray, but we'll leave some interesting signs for you painted on bed sheets.
Yeah, I bet.
Sam says Ohio State has always been a good school. Been a great school. Thank you. Kent State is a nursing pipeline for Northeast Ohio. You're absolutely right. But hey, look, you know, I guess, you know, he later clarified those statements through campaign staff. But, you know, he's also got an op-ed that, you know, literally says, I'm closing these type of schools. I guess I don't know if he was lying then or lying now, but, you know, I would just consider him a liar. Yogi Buck says 80 to 85% of the Big Ten couldn't get into FSU. Northwestern excluded. Yogi Buck, I disagree with you vehemently. I understand you're a Florida State fan, but it's not even close.
Florida State's a really good school. It's like top 60, 70 school. Big Ten, though, man, they've got a lot of like top 10, 20 schools.
They've got
Purdue is an incredible school, man.
They've got 4 schools in the top 10 globally.
UCLA, USC,
Washington.
Yeah, it's just incredible.
Even Amazing Blues, Michigan. Yeah.
You bet.
That game hurts more than the App State game. Sure, I don't know how old you are, Amazing Blue, but I was actually sharing an office with a guy who was a Michigan fan at the time, and he was on vacation. And by the time he got back, his desk was absolutely decorated with Post-it notes about how Appalachian beat Michigan. I even went and bought a Michigan fan and had it autographed for him with the score. ESPN will pay a full share to E. Not sure who E is.
Well, yeah, I think ESPN's obligated for the pro rata for any edition.
Yeah, I've tried to look into that. I can't find confirmation of that. I can't find confirmation of that yet. Cannot find actual documentation. If anybody can find it, please let me know. Sam says, love the app game. The iPatch 11 says McLovin. We'll go with it.
McLovin, baby.
Yogi Buck, all the Florida schools have skyrocketed due to number of kids wanting in. As far as public universities in the SEC, UF and Texas take academics the most serious. I agree with you.
Too, probably, I'd imagine.
Mizzou is good. Texas A&M is also very good.
Texas A&M, yeah.
The iPatch, thanks for the acknowledgement. I'm a subscriber. It's just the first time I caught a live show. Go Utes. Well, I think we need to celebrate that. Let me get a sounder for you for Utah.
Go Utes.
Utah. Where is the Utah fight song? Here we go.
Hey, Mon, just for a reminder for folks too, like in the month of July here, I'm going to be dropping a members-only video on Utah and the membership agreement with the Big 12 Conference. There's been a lot of chatter about that. I've researched this thoroughly. I'm going to make a video about all the breakdown of what that looks like with the membership agreement. Utah is a different deal than other the Big 12 schools, which if a Big 10 invitation ever came, is going to come into apply on how much money it's going to take to get out of the Big 12 Conference. So I'm going to make a members-only video, and that's going to be dropping early July.
Absolutely. And we got 425 people watching, 100 on YouTube, 100 plus on YouTube, and then quite a few on X. If you're watching us on X, Twitter, consider coming over here and leaving us a like and a subscribe. It's free. It helps us in the algorithm, allows us to do so many great things. We're going to get to these last few comments that are starred by you, and then we're going to take off out of here. If there's absolutely positively something you need answered, it'll have to be a super chat. Otherwise, I'm going to go through these last few starred ones, and we're going to bounce. We've done almost 2.5 hours here on a Friday night. I dropped that big realignment news at the beginning of the show. Check it out if you haven't had a chance to yet. Steven, 1994 WPS. If ESPN will pay SEC a full share for each new edition, what is to keep them for taking UV, VT, UNC, Clemson, Florida State, Miami, Duke, and North Carolina State? Keep Big Ten out of the South. Don't have to pay all or full. Stephen, as I just mentioned, I don't know if that's the case, if there's a pro rata clause. I have to imagine that if there is a pro rata clause, they've capped the number. They're not going to just let them take 8 at full membership.
Yeah.
Let's see here. The top big academic schools are former Pac-12 schools. 2 of them are. Michigan is a current Big Ten school or legacy Big Ten school. Minnesota and Wisconsin are also fantastic schools, as is Northwestern and Ohio State and Penn State. Again, every school in the Big Ten outside of Nebraska is AAU, and that's probably going to change soon because if you didn't catch the news earlier this week, Nebraska is now, according to the National Science Foundation, allowed to bridge their research from the Lincoln campus to the Omaha campus and count them all as one part of a herd survey. That means that Nebraska is probably going to be AAU status again very shortly. And if the Big Ten expands with Miami and Duke, they would have 2 more AAU institutions as well.
Who do you think benefits from that, Moan? Like this new approach for like adding different medical facilities and for your research?
It depends. It depends on how the way the state has them organized. That plays a huge part in it, and each state organizes them differently. For example, Kansas's medical center, which supplies probably 90% of the research, actually isn't in Lawrence. It's in Kansas City. But the way they're organized, they're allowed to include that as a part of main campus, and therefore their AAU membership, and they've got huge research potential, and they've got an NIH certified cancer hospital there. XO as good as Crown Apple. You know, Jose, I don't deal with the flavored crowns. This is aged in cognac barrels. It's a little different. I will say the XO is my favorite of the Crown Select variety, having had the single malt and the I forget what the rye one was called, but they had a rye rye version that was out. Noble Barley Edition. That was what it was called, the Noble Barley Edition. I like the Crown XO. It's incredibly smooth. It's if you're drinking Canadian whiskey and you have not had Crown XO, I would highly recommend it. It is more expensive. It's about the price of 3 bottles of regular Crown, but
is it really?
Yeah. Regular Crown I can get for $24.99. I can get this for $54.99. Okay, it's more like double. Triple might be a little overstating or a little embellishment. But
dude, do you know how much like it costs out here in Utah? When you have to go to the state liquor stores, they mark you out pretty good. So
I'm sure they probably have to give those taxes to government for alcohol prevention.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Vox Quindaro, my friend Vox Quindaro, he says KU Med is a huge teaching hospital. Absolutely is one of the top 2% cancer hospitals in the nation. Very good. Yogi Buck says, looked like Ohio State bumped up to 41. They were mid-40s. Ohio State is a very good school. They do a lot of medical research there as well. Have a tremendous teaching hospital. They don't only have one teaching hospital. They've got 2. They've got the Wexner Medical Center, which should be renamed, and they've got the James Cancer and So Love Research Institute, which is designed and designated strictly for the help curing cancer. I was in the old James. I got to spend some time in the new James, unfortunately. Never a fun time, but the new James is, oh my God, let me tell you. If you have cancer in the Midwest, get to the James Cancer Hospital. It is pure luxury, big screen TVs, nice big suites for the rooms. I didn't want to be there because I had a tumor on my pancreas, but fortunately it was benign. But I had to be there for like 8 days, and a great stay. Much better than the old James. Kansas isn't a top 150 ranked school. You're absolutely correct in terms of academics. In terms of research, they do pretty good. Again, without that Kansas Medical Center, Kansas would not be AAU. It literally 90% of their research, 90% of what contributes to their AAU is the medical campus in Kansas City. So, Crown Royal 32-year-old whiskey is $800 Canadian. And here's an interesting thing, Buckshot Kid. That's why I don't buy 32-year-old Canadian whiskey. I'd love to have a shot, and I told my friend this. I'd love to have a shot of it, but I can only imagine a shot's probably $80 to $100 for a shot.
It definitely is.
It's like literally in my liquor store. It's not only behind the counter, it's behind the counter and a lock and key display case. And it, It's something I'm never going to be able to afford to get a bottle of it. I'll just have to take someone's word. I mean, I'd be willing to even just smell the cap.
You know what? Have you ever had this whiskey before, Moan? Whistle Pig?
I've never had Whistle Pig.
Whistle Pig's good. It's real good. It's not like this $800 Crown Royal 32, but Whistle Pig's good stuff. Yeah.
Vox Quindara, we're going to end it with this. We'll end it with a little Jayhawk squawk. We've been on the air for over 2.5 hours. Again, if you guys have not done so yet, make sure you give this stream a like and a subscribe. If you're watching us on demand, go ahead and leave a comment in the comments section. If you have not done so yet, consider becoming a member of the College Football Mafia family. Get access to members-only videos with inside information, members-only streams where we do a lot of fun stuff, and all kinds of great stuff. You get your own title here in chat. You get your own emojis here in chat. Very cool stuff. I want to thank Nate for joining us earlier. I want to thank you for joining us. I want to thank myself for joining us and remaining conscious till the end of the show for 2.5 hours. I want to thank everybody who joined us tonight, and I will see you on Sunday for another episode of Mowing After Dark with myself and Rock and Rant. Do you have any videos dropping tomorrow, or is that the members-only video for July?
Members-only video for July.
Okay, there you go. First week of the new membership organization, you will have a members-only video, a Wild Ute University on Utah and potential realignment. Should be interesting. I think everybody's going to be interested in seeing it, as Utah is definitely on the candidate list for the Big Ten. Again, thanks everybody for joining us tonight. Have a safe weekend. Will we catch you next Friday? What is next Friday? Next Friday is the 3rd, so we'll be here for the 3rd.
Friday the 3rd, baby.
Friday the 3rd, we will be here to ring in America's 250 by drinking 250
Better have
ounces.
some of that XO left.
I probably will have some of this XO left. This gets me nice and comfortably numb. I do appreciate. You sent me a bottle of this, and again, I've thanked him before, but I'll thank him again. Thank you for the XO. This is my bottle, but I enjoy it just the same. Thank you to Vox Quindaro. Thank you to everybody who left super chats tonight. Let me run those down real quick. Huge support tonight. We thank Evil Badger Ryan Willie with the 50 right off the bat. 50 simoleons. Thank you, Ryan Willie. Appreciate it. Marcus Williams, Fergie, Cody X Reviews, Go Black 45, who's been a member for 10 months. Stephen Pitts, who became a new member, and we learned is an Arkansas Razorback fan. Fergie again. Then we got Ryan again. Thank you, Ryan. Much appreciated. We got PSU Nitwit with the $4.99. Mark Bowman with the $10 super chat. Cody again. We got Kenneth Maynor in there. Thank you, Kenneth Maynor. College football peek around the corner with Greg Fluger. Thank you, Greg. We appreciate that tremendously, along with your friendship and your advice on things. Amazing Blue stopped in. He lives in Cincinnati, Ohio. He's originally from Akron, Ohio. For some reason, he's a Michigan fan. I don't know. Maybe they dropped him on his head when he was a kid. I don't know. Maybe he ate too much lead paint.
He's a winner, Moan. He's a winner.
No, don't put that winner up there. Never. Tawtown Hawk did not stop by, but Tawtown Hawk, I hope you're watching on demand. Respect the drip. Thank you. For myself, for you, I want to wish everybody a good weekend, and we will catch you next Friday. Peace out.